apologizing to Tony Stewart if he can take him out. Clay Milligan against Doug Coletta, and Billy Torrance taking on Josh Hardy. And so that is how race day will lay out, and race day is going to come right now. Into eliminations here at the Texas Fall Nationals. The Stampede of Speed will culminate with 4 rounds of full throttle competition on a warm Sunday in Texas. Thank you to Amanda Busick and Tony Pendragon. I'm Brian Lones, and we will be right back with round 1. Texas can be a pretty sleepy place. The wide open spaces, the ranches, and the fresh air seem a world away from the megacity of Dallas, just 35 minutes to its north. That sleepiness is shattered for 1 week a year as the drag racing world turns its eyes to the historic Texas Motorplex in this small city, and drag racers from all corners of the continent come to fight with 2 wheels and 4, burning gasoline and nitromethane. They call it the Stampede of Speed. It has all the correct elements to be just that. The thing you have to remember about a stampede is that it's not about what you see. It's what the animals see and sense as a threat that they're so desperately trying to get away from. And there are plenty of threats on the drag strip, some of which are easy to spot. Oh man, Glenn's car made a big move to the left. That may be just enough to give the advantage to Stanfield. No, it's good enough for Glenn. It's called clutch. You have to rise to the occasion, be your best when the chips are down. 10 light for Dallas Glenn. Stanfield was 39, but does he have the quicker car? Across the stripe they go, and Dallas Glenn. This is back-to-back countdown wins.
I really wanted it on that one. Yes! We got...
Others may be less visible to us, but very threatening to those leading the herd. We've seen these two have some fantastic battles, and we got another one here. Van Zandt shooting the bulbs out of the tree, and it's going to be Van Zandt trying to stave off Gadsden Sargent. He wins on a hole shot. The last 6 finals Schumacher's been in, Torrance has been in 5, and he's only beat him once. And he might not get it today. Smokes the tires. Beckman burned this final round as much as they've earned all the other ones they've been in so far. Can Ron Capps get back into the winner's circle for the first time since Indy last year? Beckman's hanging into this one, and at the finish line, it's Beckman. For the first time in 4 years, has won a funny car race.
I got to thank John. I got to thank Robert Height. They took a chance on me, and we were going to save it. It feels great to be back.
A day filled with bucking Broncos, like horsemen, and the occasional cattle rustler await us all here today at the famed Texas Motorplex as the NHRA Texas Fall Nationals are next here on FS1. A grand week of entertainment here in Ennis, Texas at the Texas Motorplex that began with a massive country music concert and has rolled through a rodeo and so many other different aspects of the Stampede of Speed culminates today. It is race day here at the Texas Fall Nationals for the 39th time in Ennis, Texas at this racetrack that opened in the mid-'80s and ushered in a new era of competition with its all-concrete surface here in the great state of Texas. Welcome everybody into the of the Texas Motorplex. Brian Lones joined by Tony Pendragon on a race day Sunday. And Tony, a quick story to start. It was about 110 years ago. The Texas Rangers were called to the city of Dallas to stop a riot. The train pulls up. One guy got off the train and the mayor said, "Why did they only send one of you?" And the guy said, "Hey, you only got one riot to stop, right?" That's the story of today's race. You won't have to beat all the other competitors, but you have to beat the one in the other lane. And for Antron Brown, it's a big one.
Well, any expert will tell you that arguably the greatest drag race in the history of this sport happened here. It's not just the personalities and the superstars of the sport, but there's championships on the line. And for these 2 racers in the first round, Antron Brown and Justin Ashley, not only is it going to potentially take one out of the running for the championship, but it's going to open the door for 6 or 7 more, several of them on the other side of the ladder. So that's what we have in store for you in Texas.
And just in case you're wondering how strong Antron Brown's fan base is in Texas, who's pulling for Antron Brown today? And so that was the scene this morning, and Tony Schumacher is the man who showed this kind of consistency when he gets to that winner's circle. We're in pickup truck country as you look down there, the Texas Motor
route, you know what I mean? Other things you can meet in the final, you can say this or say that, but if you want a championship, you got to do your work yourself. So Justin and myself, we have a lot to cut out in front of us, and these teams, I mean, this is what we live for. So this is that moment that defines championship. So we got to go out here and give it our all, leave nothing behind, and go out here, have some fun, but we gotta go get it done.
Across the pits is Bruno Massa with Justin Ashley and his approach on the day. Thanks, Amanda. As we documented in qualifying, Justin Ashley sat out all 3 sessions of qualifying, only made the first attempt in observance of Yom Kippur. And Justin, the end result of that is one heck of a matchup we're going to have in round 1 with Antron Brown. How do you see this shaking out?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Usually when Antron's team and our team go head-to-head, most of the time it's usually a really good race for the fans. So I think it's going to be another really good race. We'll see conditions. Obviously, we didn't run yesterday. His team did. And I think the conditions will be very similar to they were both Friday and Saturday. So I think it's going to be a good race. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the rest. And I have so much respect for Antron and his team. But I just want to thank our team, our ownership group, all our partners for their unconditional support on our decision to sit out yesterday. And it's time to get after it today.
Like an old school high noon showdown, Tony, they're going to be wielding these 11,000 horsepower weapons.
A top fuel machine is a long 25-foot wheelbase, gives this machine a trademark look with 2 narrow front tires to minimize drag, 2 17.5 wide Goodyear slicks for traction, and a 5th wheel, yes, on a single wheelie bar, rear of the car, and yes, to not allow the car to wheel stand, but mostly to utilize and control the initial wheel speed on the launch, 220 miles per hour within the first 300 feet and close to 340 miles per hour with a rev limiter kicking in just before the finish line.
They are machines without compare in the world of motorsports, and this matchup is without compare in its extreme nature for this season. Brown and Ashley will be the second pair of top fuelers in round number 1. We then will see Brittany Force and Spencer Hyde. They'll be the third pair out. Hyde making his first start of the 2024 season, a standout pro modified racer in his own right. Sean Reed and Tony Stewart. Remember what happened the last time these two got together? Reed told us how he grew up watching Tony Stewart, and then he beat him in the first round at that race. Sean Langdon and Jasmine Salinas. The performance of Salinas' car has been decent, but Langdon has been razor sharp so far this weekend across 4 qualifying sessions. Krista Baldwin comes in as a fan favorite, but a decided underdog in the 6th pair against 4-time champion and Texan Steve Torrence. We then move on to the pairing of it is Josh Hart's right foot, the speed of his reaction times, the advantage he carries, but for Billy Torrence is the Capco experience and performance. Clay Milligan and Doug Coletta. This could be a moment much akin to that regarding Antron Brown and Ashley that could be the season for Coletta. How about the teammates, Zetterstrom and Schumacher, the first pair out on Sunday morning here in Texas. And the cars are fired. A battle of the JCM Racing teammates. The Okuma colors, Leatherwood Distillery on the right side. That is Tony Schumacher. On the left-hand side, Ida Zetterstrom making her mark. She is a Rookie of the Year candidate. The vote for Rookie of the Year in the NHRA is made by a media panel, but she has been making her case to do just that, be a factor in this race. Support from VP Racing Fuels Edelbrock and Dodge on the side of this red white is back in this title conversation.
Well, he has the car that he needs to win. His tuner has finally wrapped his head around this top fuel car.
Yes.
He tuned funny cars for so many years, won a couple of championships with John Force, one of those that Mike Neff was able to tune. However, this top fuel car just works differently. You have to make more power. You have to apply the clutch in a different way. But they have inquiring minds really want to know, are they going to let these internally in that motor was not properly functioning?
You guys, who lives and dies on the tree? We'll find out here shortly.
Look, I'm not against that. I don't think that's going to create any disadvantage. That could be good for the body, could be good for the mind, good for the soul. And right now, the one run that Justin Ashley did make in similar conditions was quicker than Antron Brown.
They're rolling. It was Ashley out first, and at the finish line, it's Ashley. 377.5 beats a 377.6. That was a season-hinging moment, and they have taken away Antron Brown out of competition.
Well, and there you have it. They gave him a slightly better car by 100th of a second, but here's what made in for Antron Brown. It was that misfiring cylinder at the finish line that may have slowed that car down. That 5-mile-an-hour differential may have made the difference. However, it was catch-up because of that quick start for Justin Ashley, like he does so well.
A brutal outcome here for the Matco team. And for Justin Ashley, it shows that you can put this guy in New York for a couple days. You could have put him on the moon for a couple days, and he's going to show back and be 40 on the tree.
Well, he drives, he conducts himself like a professional, like does Antron Brown, and this is just a battle of two of the best drivers in the class.
And once again, complete chaos in the top fuel points as we get out of this first round. Couple of matchups here. This is Antron Brown driving off the starting line and watching way too much of the Skag Power Equipment top fuel dragster inching ahead of him incrementally down the drag strip. Brittany Force is looking to make her headlines during this first round. She'll take on Spencer Hyde when we return.
Get ready to race down the track with Mission Foods. It's a green light for the NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series, packed with fast action and tasty products. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty. One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas Fuel Treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system. Pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment works.
I didn't have to spend my life trying to find my calling. Mine found me at an early age. It was just a matter of how good I could and how far I would go.
At Ram, our calling is to build trucks. So when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
Right now during Ram Power Days, get $4,000 cash allowance on the purchase of most 2025 Ram 1500 trucks. Don't miss Ram Power Days. Hurry in today.
Think scaling your AI pilots is hard? With Watson X, you can deploy AI across any environment, above the clouds and on lots of clouds. With your secured data on-prem, in real time on center court, and assisting bank tellers on the edge. Watson X helps you deploy AI wherever you need it, so you can take your business wherever it needs to go. IBM, let's create.
My life is full of questions. How do I clean an aioli stain? Here's Tide. Do I need to pre-treat guacamole? Oh, it's Tide.
Why do we even buy napkins?
Thankfully, Tide's the answer to almost all of them. Do crabs have eyebrows?
Except that one. For all of life's laundry questions, it's got to be Tide.
All my favorites for just $7 each? That's crazy.
We're tied at 7.
Or am I crazy? Seven.
Seeing sevens? It's a sign to order from Pizza Hut's $7 deal lovers menu.
7.
The Texas NHRA Fall Nationals is sponsored by Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty. And by Toyota. Let's go places. And the cattle are grazing, the top fuel cars are rolling, and the top fuel points have snugged themselves up once again as Justin Ashley is now inside of one round against Antron Brown. Brittany Force, the HendrickCars.com top fuel dragster. John Collins and David Grubnick on this machine making the tune-up calls. And across the racetrack is Spencer Hyde, driving the Payton family top fuel dragster. Hyde, a former winner of the World Series of Pro Mod. He is a guy who has done a lot of stuff behind the wheel of door slammers. His second foray into top fuel here. And he red lights against Brittany. Big red light for Hyde. And Brittany Force will take that first round win light and do so with a 376.6. Look at the speed, Tony. Almost 335.
Well, the moment's pretty big for Spencer Hyde, taking on a multi-time champion, the #1 qualifier. Just gets on the throttle, loses focus way too early. It may not have mattered. That was a very impressive run for Brittany. Very impressive speed. 88 degrees already. Only 108 degrees on the racetrack.
The first round pairing that you just saw, Justin and Antron, is with Amanda.
Justin, welcome back to the top. And for the first time since Friday, you get the win over Antron Brown here. And you went over to him and said there is a long way to go in this battle, but how key was that?
Well, it was huge. Every round right now is huge, especially when you're racing the points leader. He's a three-time champ, and he's a three-time champ for a reason. A lot of respect for him. And Brian and Mark and that whole team, we do have a long, long way to go. We got to finish out this race. We got 2 more after that, but that's a big round win for us. Just so proud of the Skag Power Equipment team, all of our dealers and distributors, everybody here from Skag Southwest. Just couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity to represent Skag, Toyota, Phillips, and all these great partners.
And first thing words out of the dragster was "son of a Triscuit" is what you said, Antron. But you grabbed the time slip as well. What was the first thing you wanted to look at?
No, I just wanted to see where we're at, and we ran identical ET, so that tells you how good both these teams are. And Justin was great on a tree like he always is, and I was 60, about 61 is 41, so they had 2 in the bank, and I just gotta get better. I gotta be better. I'm always close to that, and man, it's a tough blow, but this is just NHRA drag racing is what it's all about. But you know what? We got 2 races left. It's going to go back, go to work, and come back even stronger.
The black and gold Mobil 1 colors as Antron Brown walks back to his trailer. On the other side of the racetrack is Sean Reed. But Bruno, you got more on Tony Stewart.
Yeah, checking in with Tony this morning. Absolute frustration with the performance of this car right now. You know, one of his biggest things is that through NASCAR, he told me that the driver versus the crew chief, it's about a 70-30. 70 going to the driver. The driver can make up for a lack of performance. And right now, I'm just frustrated because there's nothing I can do to affect the way this car performs. And that's hard for me to deal with.
Sean Reed was out first, and Sean Reed is going to take out for the second time in a row Tony Stewart, a 375 at 318. Wendland's fired up, and he should be. Well, more apologies coming because he just trounced him on the starting line, outperformed him. And the frustration will have to continue for Tony Stewart. However, he's just the driver, but he's just the owner too, so he could take measures to improve how this car performs. It is a people business for Sean Reed. It's just a good running car. A very respectful run for Tony Stewart. They did get down the track, but hard to outrun this Sean Reed car. It just seems to be clicking right now. That is low ET of the first round so far for Sean Reed, and that car is looking monstrous all of a sudden. Reed will be racing the winner of this particular pairing, Jasmine Salinas. I correct myself there. He'll be racing either Milligan or Coletta when they come up. This is Jasmine Salinas and Sean Langdon, the Coletta Air Machine left side. Salinas on the Toyota side. Tree. You saw Brian Houston actually raise his arms behind the race car. Both drivers were way off in their reaction times. 372.4. It is rare to see a tree that long to actually have the crew chief react to it. Bruno, you're at the starting line.
Well, talking with Sean Langdon before that run, he says third in points, and he's been a bit of a lull. He'll tell you the last couple of races that just haven't gone his way, but has an opportunity today to control his own destiny as he takes on Justin Ashley in the next round. He said with a win against Ashley, go ahead and win the race. They will actually take over the points lead, and they're right in the position they need to be.
Lost in the weirdness of the starting line. Langdon goes 372. We're getting quicker with every pair. It's a quick run, but it is a long light, but it has to be. That is just by design. You can see the reaction from the tuners or the crew in the background because, you know, they're as if they're in the car. But take a look. Now they're staged. And they're waiting, and that's a long tree, but it has to be. If it's not random, it could be a quick tree, it could be long. At times it is a long tree, and that's a test to the focus of the drivers. And if it's not like this, if it's not random, it's going to allow drivers to go up there and time it, and, well, you don't want that either. There is a different style of timing system at this racetrack than we use at every other one. The trees are random. The starter flips a switch when both cars are fully staged. The level of random time in that timer may be a little longer than these drivers are used to. We will be coming back with more action here in the first round of Top Fuel, as Sean Langdon knew how long it was. It felt like a year and a half for him, but this break, it won't feel like just a minute. We'll be right back to the Texas MOTORPLEX.
Type 2 diabetes? Discover the Ozempic Trizone. Ozempic! I got the power of 3. I lowered my A1C, CV risk, and lost some weight. In studies, the majority of people reached an A1C under 7 and maintained it. I'm under 7. Ozempic lowers the risk of major cardiovascular events such as stroke, heart attack, or death in adults also with known heart disease. I'm lowering my risk. Adults lost up to 14 pounds.
I lost some weight.
Ozempic isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't share needles or pens or reuse needles. Don't take Ozempic if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2 or if allergic to it. Stop Ozempic and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Gallbladder problems may occur. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Ozempic with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems. Living with type 2 diabetes?
That's about the power of 3 with Ozempic.
Tubi is proud to be free for our teachers and kids who skip class to throw rocks at windows, because Tubi is free for everyone.
There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Applebee's wickedly delicious dollar zombie has risen. Looking for a thirst to quench? Take a sip if you dare.
You're leaving me?
For a TurboTax expert. Sing it, Adam.
TurboTax will beat your price. This is the tax break.
This fall, switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat the price you paid your pro last tax season.
If you need health coverage because of a recent life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it's there for Terrence and Jody, who got married and found a health plan that covers both of them. And Sophia, she's having a baby, so she can enroll in a plan that covers the big and little things. And Gary, when he moved, he found a new plan that covers what he needs. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov, where millions have found the coverage they need.
I didn't have to spend my life trying to find my calling. Mine found me at an early age. It was just a matter of how good I could get and how far I would go.
At Ram, our calling is to build trucks. So when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
Right now during Ram Power Days, get $4,000 cash allowance on the purchase of both 2025 Ram 1500 trucks. Don't miss Ram Power Days. Hurry in today.
This was the massive autograph session in Waxahachie, Texas the other night. More than 100 drivers of the NHRA Professional Mission Foods Drag Racing Series and the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series signed autographs. Well into the night, there was a concert. There was all kinds of fun stuff to do, but the real fun stuff happens on Sundays in the NHRA, and that's what's going on right now. As Krista Baldwin, the Greekette, rolls up in the McLeod clutches, IGTG Top Fuel Dragster, and across the racetrack, this sits Steve Torrance. Well, something is very catchy on the eye is Krista Baldwin's injector. However, that car ran good, made a very good competitive run, but going up against Steve Torrance, she has to be quick on the starting line, and of course, it is hot, but it's not so hot that you cannot manage the clutch and the power. Baldwin smokes the tires, and Steve Torrance goes to the finish line at 375.6 at 333 miles an hour. Another triple-digit light. Now let's go to the top end with Sean Reed, who has, for the second time, beaten Tony Stewart early.
Guys, you will see Tony Stewart headed down the return road. I was able to talk to him just briefly if he had any message ahead of Las Vegas, and he said, I might not be driving this Top Fuel dragster. Obviously, frustration out of Tony Stewart in his first year racing in Top Fuel dragster. Sean Reed, yet again, another win light here in round one, and the operation is looking stealth. How big of a turnaround is this for you guys?
You know, I just always had faith in this team, and you know, it's just starting to show right now, all the hard work we put in. You know, starting from nothing at the beginning of the year, but you know, all the guys I got with me. I mean, Redline, Bradco, you know, All American Auto Supply. I mean, it's been great, man. Rob Windland Tune Machine. I always knew if I give him the right parts, and we can do some damage here. So, you know, unfortunately, it's against Tony. He's a good friend of mine. You know, I consider him a good friend of mine. You know, we have the same places in Havasu, and you know, hopefully we'll you know, kick it on the beach next weekend and have a beer or two and forget all about this. But right now we're going on, and I love it.
And so Sean Reed advancing on to another round as we see Josh Hart, the R&L Carriers top fueler, and the white cap, his crew chief, Ron Douglas. And this, of course, Billy Torrance. We have sent one of the Capco cars onto the second round. They're suite up there in the tower, filled with employees and friends all weekend long, cheering on their favorite Texas Suns. Here we go. Immediate smoke for Josh Hart. The car went about 150 feet, and a 377 and 329 for Billy Torrance. Well, this played out a lot like how these teams performed in qualifying. It was Billy Torrance getting down the racetrack, 3 out of 4 qualifying runs. And for Josh Hart, coming into this matchup, only one good competitive run during qualifying. And you can see him light those rear tires up before that car gets to 300 feet. We watch this one more time. See Billy fighting his car to the finish line. Sean Langdon, we mentioned it before, had an incredibly long Christmas tree, bizarrely long, enough for his crew chief to raise his arms in question before the car came off the starting line. What did Sean think about it? He told us.
Off camera, I just asked Sean Langdon how hard is that, and he said, I need a raise. What is the most challenging part?
Well, obviously sitting there. I mean, you're sitting there staged, and I mean, it's anything. I mean, you're going on anything to try to catch a good light, and so you're sitting there, and then finally get to a point that it's like, okay, you know there's a problem, you recognize a problem, you kind of tell your body to relax, but you still have to be ready because the tree's going to fire at any point. And at some point, I'm thinking in my head, I hope the starter realizes to hit like an override or something. Obviously, we got a little different timing system this weekend, computer stuff you can't control. It sucks. Like I said, it's chicken. We're here racing the countdown. You know, it's hard to point the finger at somebody because electronics is electronics. They always work till they don't. So I'm not going to cry about it. It's a situation to be in. You can't really say what you want to say. So at the end of the day, we're going to the next round.
Yeah, but what a frustrating situation. But he hit advance. Can his teammate gold and black Mobile One car is out? That's Tony Stewart's. We'll see if Clay Millican can stop Bueller. He's doing it. He is going to do it. And he blows the car up at the finish line, but Millican goes 374 at 333 miles an hour, and the door hasn't opened up for Tony Schumacher. The Kool-Aid Man has busted through the wall for him. It is a wide-open race because Coletta is out.
And right here, you can see for Clay Millican, he was the favorite coming in, and a lot of damage right near the finish line. We've seen it a few times with this Parts Plus machine. There's a odd amount of smoke that's burning off. It's not very typical that you see that, so there might have been a slight leak, or there may have been some pressure that found its way out of the engine. It didn't appear to affect the engine at this stage. However, as soon as he gets off the throttle, or just before he gets off the throttle, there you can see the backfire. And at this point, it was Doug Coletta, not even in this race before 300 feet, tire smoke as well, but a great run, just a lot of engine damage for Clay.
And for Doug Coletta, that could have been a championship dream-ending tire smoker, as we see Forrest Schumacher, Langdon and Ashley, Reed Millican, and the two Torrance boys have to square off in round number 2 of Top Fuel. What a chaotic and wild first round of Top Fuel Eliminator. When we come back with Nitro Funny Car, Austin Brock and the Funny Car cast of thousands will be out here on the racetrack, and there is trouble afoot inside the John Force Racing Funny Car pit area. More on that when we come back.
What's up?
Who are you?
I'm your inner child. Get in. Listen, horsepower keeps you going, but torque gets you going. Oh, now we're torquing.
The Dodge Hornet RT, the totally torqued out crossover.
Americans turn to RVing in record numbers as they pursue the spirit of freedom and travel exploration.
Life is more than what we've been told it's supposed to be.
The RV community is stronger than ever as family and friends seek quality time together.
To be free in this American dream.
Camping World has been a part of the American dream since 1966. Shop over 6,000 RVs for less than $200 a month, only at Camping World.
Time. It's the only thing that matters on this track. And it's the only thing that matters in this field. If you're not making the most of every second out here, consider yourself second place. That's why I run Fendt, with a full lineup of industry-leading machines that maximize my efficiency. If every day is a race against the clock, I have yet to lose.
How common is this I talk to?
Can this be treated?
Stop typing, start talking to a specialized urologist because it could be Peyronie's disease, or PD. It's a medical condition where there is a curve in the erection caused by a formation of scar tissue, and an estimated 1 in 10 men may have it. But PD can be treated even without surgery. Say goodbye to searching online. Find a specialized urologist who can diagnose PD and build a treatment plan with you. Visit makeapdplan.com today.
Popeye's crispy, juicy, tender, signature chicken is the meal your craving deserves. And now you can get 3 pieces of the chicken you crave for just $5. We don't make sense. We make chicken. Love that chicken from Popeyes. create a backyard that's out of this world. Right now, save $50 on the MSA 60 CB battery chainsaw. Real steel. Find yours tonight on Fox. It's game one. And the Dodgers.
Wait nonchalantly to head to the staging lanes as we look down from the pit camera. This side of the John Force Racing funny car operation is serene. There is turmoil on the other side. We'll tell you about that in a minute. Speaking of turmoil, Tony, let's talk funny cars.
As you can see, one of the more distinct features on a Nitro funny car is that body, engineered and designed by one of 4 auto manufacturers. That would either be Chevrolet, Dodge, Toyota, or Ford. 8 cylinders, supercharged engines with a billet engine block, as well as stand the over 11 that allow for the zero.
And everybody thought, what do they say? And then he has gone to multiple finals, and he won the last race on tour in St. Louis. And a man who just 7 days ago, or I should say 14 days ago, was in the winner's circle is not extra.
He's not made it to the track yet. He is facing a medical condition. Austin Prock was there to warm up the car for. He's really found a yourself.
Well, this is a dream come true for me, opportunity of a lifetime, and I want to make the most of it. When I got the news that I was going to drive this AAA Camaro SS, swing this countdown system, so I'm hoping for a long day and a little gold man at the end of the day.
So Austin Prock smiling. Our situation as we look right now, this week's peak, did you know? The most #1 qualifiers in a single season. In Nitro Funny Car, he is tied at John Force. He has also tied Schumacher for the outright record in the Nitro categories, but we can see Anderson and Edwards both have 16. And Gage Schreier last season had 14 in Pro Stock Motorcycle. We have an update here, and it comes about Jack Beckman. We knew he wasn't at the racetrack earlier this morning. He will not be coming to the racetrack today. A statement released by John Force Racing states that Jack was fine when he left the track Saturday night, but when he woke up this morning, meaning Sunday, he had vertigo-like symptoms that were not quickly resolved. On the advice of NHRA medical professionals, he reluctantly has withdrawn from competition this weekend. Amanda Busick is with Tim Fabrizi, who tunes on this race car.
Tim, I know this has been, you go back to John Force's accident, just what this team has gone through and build back together, not racing here today. What's the message to give to your team?
I mean, just keep strong. I mean, this just sucks. It sucks for everybody. We went through it with John. Jack not feeling good, with the decisions made. It's just not safe for anybody to run, so we can't do it. We have a fighting chance. Unfortunately, we have to sit down. Everyone puts their life's work into this to get through it. So, yeah, it's a big punch. But we're just going to keep going, push for Austin and Brittany, and it is what it is.
I can scarcely remember or understand a team that has been through what this particular group of individuals has been through this year, especially when we look at the points. They are second right now, and they will not be in that position unless something very unlikely happens during the course of this race day. You could hear the just desperation and sadness in Tim's voice. Higher qualified car in Blake, tuning this race Friday night was a career best. Half of the 380 bracket. Bob Taskin, the third's car, never got that quick, but he doesn't need to worry about it now. Deal with the heat, deal with it quick.
In St. Louis, we needed that win against Brock, and we came in with a whole new setup working on next year. Very confident about some of the stuff we're working on. Hats off to that team. You know, Austin's done a great job, but I got to compliment Jimmy Brock. That's one of the greatest tuning jobs ever of a season, and rightfully so. Those guys are the top dog right now. We're going to work hard for next year.
The goals become far more short-term for Bob Taskin team now. Go out and win one of the next two. When we come back, Funny Card.
You like watching things get broken? Like barriers, glass ceilings, and records. Then this playoff season, we're looking for you.
Join us at Toyota Racing. If the first thing you think of when you see a pickup truck is this kind of hauling, we're looking for you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. Because at the end of the day, every single round is on you. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
I'm Jimmy Dean, and only one thing could make a morning like this any nicer. A hearty, hefty, good-tasting breakfast with eggs, bacon, sausage, cheese, and taters. And when you finish, you know you had something to eat.
Start your day with a bang. Let's have a party as FS1's brand new lineup.
We're gonna change up the vibe.
Brings you everything you need.
Have some fun, old guy.
To level up your game.
Undeniably, my favorite company.
Unreal. All day.
I'm not surprised.
Every weekday.
Yeah, for sure.
In one place.
Cackling funny cars. Matt Hagan, the Johnson's Horsepower Garage Dodge on one side, and Bobby Bodie the third, the RB Plastic Bags Mustang on the other. A good race, but it's Matt Hagan's, and he wins on a whole shot. 397 beats a 396. He pulled out that veteran experience again. This is what you get from a veteran driver, a guy that is always on high alert when he feels any threat in the other lane. Matt Hagan taking a car that didn't perform as well as Bobby Bodie, getting off the line and earning another whole shot win for his team. Bruno.
Matt Hagan's playing a little wounded today. After qualifying yesterday where the car performed flawless, he was packing his parachutes in the pits and got hit by somebody driving a golf cart. Now, I think the golf cart occurred more damage than Matt did, but he did roll his ankle and it damaged his foot a little bit. He's swollen up and he's got it ice, and he said, it's my clutch pedal foot, so you know what? I'm going to stop on the gas with the right one. I should be okay.
I mean, hitting Matt Hagan with a golf cart is like hitting a power line with a tour bus. I mean, how do you do it? Hagan is going to be rolling off the top end. He moves into round number 2. He'll race either Cruz Pedregon or J.R. Todd. The Sealmaster Track Walk was led by the Stevensville High School Band this morning. They were banging on the drums. The drum line sounded great. Well, we'll see what kind of grip they have and see how good these kids are, but it sounded great. You can see the massive amount of fans that participate in the track walk here. The Texas drag racing fans really have been out in force, and this event brings people from all over the nation. I met some folks from Oregon who came out here last week, have attended every facet and aspect of the Stampede of Speed. They have come from all corners. We now get an updated look at our Lucas Oil Funny Car competition ladder, and it shows us that Blake Alexander has advanced, that Austin Prock has advanced, and that Matt Hagan has done the same. The 1, 2, and 4 qualifiers. And so the next pair is on the starting line right now, and you can see it is only a single as Jack Beckman's team has come up. It will be Chad Green, a solo to run down here. The Bond Coat Boxo Tools Mustang. A car that has looked good, and for all intents and purposes, Tony, let's talk about this for a second. Tasca out, Beckman out. This means that Austin Prock, the closest anybody was 105 points, and it's just going to get even deeper a trench with each run that they cannot make today, and he can. And Chad Green makes it down to the finish line stripe, a 3:99.2 at 295 miles an hour for Green. Austin Prock is with Amanda.
Also, if you go back and watch the show, you'll see Bob Tasca give big props to your dad on just a masterclass of what he's done in this season. And you were vulnerable right there, and you kept it together. How will you remember what this year has been for you?
I'll remember it racing with my family. There's been a lot of good. There's been a lot of bad. Missing Jack out here today. I mean, every time it seems like things are going good, it just turns the other way. This is not the way we wanted to start the day. We missed John Force out here, but we have had some success, and we'll definitely remember the good times and the bad ones. But we got lucky there. The good Lord was looking down, and he gave me a little advice before that run. I saw a dragonfly, and that usually means Eric saying something, and he was floating around right about that spot where it puffed the tire. And before that run, I just told myself to be ready right there. So got the job done. We lived another round.
Yes, he does. This is up to the minute points, the Nitro Funny Car category now, 127. And you can see John Force, of course, Beckman earning points for him. He will not be here today. Bob Tasca's eliminated. Hagan's there. And the Bluebird Turf Mustang of Dave Richards, after a career best run, is finally backing up. The problem is this has been a delayed situation, and it is going to take them a much longer time than average to get back there. Meanwhile, Ron Capps is sitting in the other lane. The Toyota GR Super Body comes down.
And you can see the signal. He wants to go. He may be hearing some of the communication that they're having problems, and they need only get this car back, but they're going to have to speed up the process. They do not want to delay Ron Capps. He has a right. You can see his tuner right there rolling him into that pre-stage. They don't want to burn any more fuel than they have to. This is a double down because for Capps, he now knows the two people in front of him and the points are eliminated. His season is hanging in the balance here. His ability to make up ground, and Dean Antonelli is almost incredulous looking across the racetrack at this.
And it's not an issue of sportsmanship. It's an issue of how much weight and how much fuel they burn that could lighten up the front end for the Napa car.
And Ron Capps will thunder to a finish line ET of 391.2 at 328 miles an hour. Dave Richards' car immediately spun the tires. And Ron Capps in the shutdown area now. And Capps is one round away from passing Bob Tasca III for the third place spot in the points. When we come back, Nitro Funny Car continues. The Cornwell Quality Tools pit cam shows Austin Prock's team pulling the car in to do what they have done so many times this year, service it for round number 2. We have more round 1 when we return.
I didn't have to spend my life trying to find my calling. Mine found me at an early age. It was just a matter of how good I could get. Go.
At Ram, our calling is to build trucks. So when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
Right now during Ram Power Days, get $4,000 cash allowance on the purchase of most 2025 Ram 1500 trucks. Don't miss Ram Power Days. Hurry in today.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products. Race parts sold by racers since 1970.
Psoriasis kept me in the shadows until I got clearer skin. With Bimzelx, this is my shot to say, I'm back. Most people got 100% clear skin, some after the first dose.
Serious side effects include suicidal thoughts and behavior, infections, and lowered ability to fight them. Liver problems and inflammatory bowel disease have occurred. Tell your doctor if these happen or worsen, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to.
Start to get yourself back with Bimzelx.
Ask your dermatologist about Bimzelx today.
Homes.com is a new, elevated home shopping experience. Beautiful design, tremendously rich content, and my favorite touch, it's the only site that always connects you to the listing agent. Feels like a work of art.
Lovely. What about the app?
Uh-oh. Look what I did. It's ringing. Hello? Hello? Hello?
I can't hear you.
Hello?
Because you glued a frame over the microphone.
I think I've glued the frame over the microphone.
Ding dong!
Homes.com. We've done your homework.
The beard that doesn't itch. You using King? Look, this Beard Trimmer Pro's got 40 length settings. And this beard conditioner is for soft, no-itch face wear. The best man to get is King C. Gillette.
At Domino's, we're all about cheesy, so you know we had to make our new 5-cheese mac and cheese the crave-worthiest, cheesiest pasta possible. Just like all of our mouth-watering oven-baked pastas. But try one for yourself, including our new 5-cheese mac and cheese next time you order at Domino's.
It's a huge day of football on Fox, and it all kicks off with Big Noon Saturday as Baby Mahomes, Dylan Raiola in Nebraska take on Indiana. Then Coach Prime and Heisman hopeful Travis Hunter lead Colorado against Arizona. Wow! It all kicks off with Big Noon Saturday.
Support, and please help the American Red Cross to provide meals and shelter to people when they need it most. Donate today to the hurricane victims of Milton and Helene by going to redcross.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Just terrible scenes of destruction from these two storms. And if you're able to, please help support those who need your help in this time of need. We would certainly appreciate it, as now more wackiness has begun. It is now Alexis DeJoria's car off the starting line. The parachutes are out of it. She's going to climb out of it. Bruno, it is chaos today at Funny Car.
It really is. At least Alexis is getting out of the car, getting out of the way, allowed Daniel Wilkerson to go run down the racetrack. Talking with his dad this morning, I asked him how things were going over here, and he said, you know what, you don't brag about your kid, you don't brag about your race car because you jinx them both. Well, you know what? I think that just actually played out to his benefit this morning, because bragging about both is going to give him a bye here in round one.
Wilkerson pounds the ground with a 390 at 323 miles an hour, the second quickest run of the round. Let's get down to talk to Ron Capps, who's with Amanda Busick.
Ron, a big points day could be happening for you with all the competitors that are out here in round one as you look to go forward up in these points. But an interesting thing for you at the starting line. What changes for you when you see a competitor have issues stuck on track like that?
Well, you're bummed for them. I mean, you want to race, right? It's countdown, and we don't want anything weird to happen like that. And they made the runner last forever. We sat there longer than we should have, and we waited. Guido will wait as long as we can. But when they pushed the car back, I thought they got him out, and they were getting out of my way. And the guy that started had his hand out with his finger up, and I thought, okay, I got a single. And I just yelled at Guido on the radio, make sure they get all their feet out of the beams, because I saw beams going back and forth as they pushed the car back. And then all of a sudden, this pre-stage went on. I went, I'm on the radio going, what is going on? Somebody's got their foot in their beams. Then I went, screw it, I'm just going to stage the car and hit the gas, which I did. Obviously, it quivered a long way. It burned too much fuel, and, you know, it is what it is. But, man, one of those, it's just not what you need here in Texas. But our Napa guys, great job.
Well, in a welcome change, both cars completed their burnouts and have backed up to the starting line. J.R. Todd, the DHL GR Super, Cruz Pedregon, the socket to breast cancer, Snap-on Dodge. Bruno has more from the starting line.
Well, talking about J.R. Todd this morning, he talked to me about, the success they had early in the season and really put the hopes up for this team to make a championship run. And it really just kind of hit a slump through the mid part of the season. He said, honestly, our performance at the beginning of the year really wasn't indicative. The success we had wasn't indicative of our performance, and that's kind of played out. There's really nothing missing. They just haven't run with the full potential. He said we might be a little bit down on power. It's got us chasing our tail a little bit. Hopefully we can catch up to these guys, because people are starting to put up some big numbers, and we've got to join that crew of people who can put up the big numbers at the end of the season.
We'll find out what they can do here. The big number of the round so far was Blake Alexander's 387. smokes the tires. Cruz Pedregon's going to pick up a round win, a much-needed round win at that. 4:01.7, 315.55 miles an hour. Todd lost traction, tried to pedal it, but it wasn't to be.
A little bit of a break for the Snap-on car. Only a 401, only 7 cylinders. However, for J.R. Todd, his car lost traction. It was a pretty even start off of the starting line. It was Cruz was trying to shorten the track up. You could see it was a DHL machine that looked like it was just going to out-accelerate Snap-on car. They say they run pretty hard before they get loose, and it was that loss of traction for the DHL team that just didn't allow them to get beyond 300 to 400 feet. Fortunately for Cruz, he was able to continue to manhandle the car even after it started to misfire that cylinder, pushing the car to the inside of the lane.
A busy week for so many during the stampede of speed, including J.R. Todd, who made a stop at the Toyota headquarters in Plano, Texas to talk racing.
Hey everybody, it's J.R. Todd. We're at the Toyota Experience Center here at Toyota headquarters. Follow me for the exclusive sneak peek of what they have in store here. Here we got a 1958 Toyota Pet Crown, first ever Toyota sold in the United States. Got roughly 33 miles per gallon, just a little more than my Nitro Funny car. So this is a cool timeline of how vehicles are produced at Toyota. It starts with a giant roll of steel and the parts being stamped out, to the paint booth, to the final assembly. And it's cool to just watch the different employees at the Toyota plant in Kentucky make a Toyota Camry. Here we have a GR Super from the Fast and Furious 9, which is almost as fast as my Nitro Funny car.
J.R. Todd goes 388 at 329 miles an hour.
Another cool feature is this interactive timeline. It shows the motorsports history. If you go to the 2010s, oh, this guy again, he's everywhere. Scroll over to 2018, the more important year, obviously, when we won the championship. But it's pretty awesome to be a part of this. 20 plus years of Toyota and NHRA partnership, and I'm glad to be a small part of that. There's a lot of special cars here, including Martin Truex's 2017 championship winning car. But over here, it's one that brings back a lot of memories for me. 2018, this was a dream come true, winning the championship in this bad boy. And it says, do not touch, but so from the Fast and Furious movies to James Bond movies, Toyota has been involved in Hollywood for a long time, especially with this 1967 Toyota 2000 GT. The name's Todd, J.R. Todd. Here's a great example of how Toyotas were built to last. This Tundra was instrumental in the 2018 California wildfires. It's nicknamed the Marshmallow. It's pretty awesome to see, something that was really instrumental in getting medical supplies and saving lives in the California wildfires. So that wraps up the tour. Thanks for following me around. We'll see you at the track.
So his visit to Toyota, some pretty interesting stuff going on there, of course, as always. That is Dale Creasy. And this is Paul Lee, the FTI Performance, Silver Sport Transmissions, Power-Built Tools Dodge, and the Tech Pack Dodge of Dale Creasy Jr. Career best run this weekend. How do they do it? We asked him as part of this week's E3 Spark Plugs Building a Team. What a difference a year makes for Dale Creasy Jr. He left here last year, the Motorplex, thinking that his career might be over, and fast forward 12 months, and now you have a new career best ET. What was that transition like for you? Obviously, you're getting some help from John Force Racing. How big a help has that been?
Oh, without them, we wouldn't be here. I mean, as far as parts-wise and helping us get the car set up and stuff like that, Danny and the guys over there have done a tremendous job.
So let me get this right. This is a mirror to the car that Jack Beckman is driving, correct?
Yes, we patterned it after his because we figure they know what they're doing, so we might as well follow them. That way, if they look at our information, it's apples and apples, so things seem to be working our way.
You left here at the Motorplex last year with your head down. What was your thought process?
I was done. I mean, at my age and the amount of money it was supposed to take to fix it, I thought I was done. And I got about 2 hours down the road, and I said, I'm not done yet. Made some phone calls, and John Forrest told him, go pick up a chassis. There's one sitting there, and here we are.
Any more left in this car?
It's got more in it.
We'll find out if he needs that more as we see Paulie, the winner of the Pep Boys All-Star Funny Car Call-Out of the U.S. Nationals. Took a couple of races off, but he's back here in Texas. Late temperature increases, the rubber
rubber gets gooey and loosens up a little bit. Fortunately for Paul Lee, bigger problems for Dale Creasy.
One more look at it here as Creasy was trying to pedal his way in. Lee was able to lift just past the 8th mile and coast to a 410. The car was kind of setting a course to the inside there as it began to spin. Our second round ladder. I'm not sure who won the first round or who survived it out of these 8 drivers, but the fact is they're in round 2. Brock and Lee, Alexander Capps, Hagen Petragon, and it will be Chad Green and Daniel Wilkerson side by side.
300 rounds.
Dallas Glenn, this is what it looked like.
What's up?
Who are you?
I'm your inner child. Get in. Listen, horsepower keeps you going, but gets you going. Oh, now we're torquing.
The Dodge Hornet RT, the totally torqued out crossover. Speed, power, performance, and top-notch results on the turf and on the track. Skag Power Equipment is mowing down the competition. Built by hard-working Americans in state-of-the-art facilities, Skag machines are made to last. Don't get left behind. Visit your local Skag dealer to discover the Skag difference for yourself. Skag, simply the best. Time. It's the only thing that matters on this track. And it's the only thing that matters in this field. If you're not making the most of every second out here, consider yourself second place. That's why I run Fendt, with a full lineup of industry-leading machines that maximize my efficiency. If every day is a race against the clock, you have yet to lose.
What's up?
Who are you?
I'm your inner child. Get in. Listen, horsepower keeps you going, gets you going. Oh, now we're torquing.
The Dodge Hornet RT, the totally torqued out crossover.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, so I saved hundreds. With the money I saved, I thought I'd get a wax figure of myself. Cool, right? Look at the craftsmanship. I mean, got my nostrils right. It's just nice to know. Years after I'm gone, this guy will be standing the test of time. He's melting. Oh, jeez. No. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. The 3 for Me, only at Chili's, is now available with the all-new Big Smasher Burger. Or you can settle for a drive-thru. Plus, get fries, a drink, and bottomless chips and salsa for just $10.99. See you later, tiny drive-thru burger. This Chili's 3 for Me is the best $10.99 you can eat.
Yeah, 3 don't cost a dime. The only limit is the sky. It's our time. You don't wanna miss it. It's our time.
This week's To Repair for Pep Boys takes us back to Friday night and a tremendously bad ride for Eric Latino in Pro Stock. The car moved itself out of the groove, and then the Jesse compressor's machine rotated itself face first into the concrete wall. Tony, very little downforce in these cars.
Well, the downside of the lack of downforce is these cars cannot stay really glued to the track. And this particular track, not to be confused with the soup, but it does get very slick outside of the groove.
Eric Latino, robustly built, was able to climb out of the car uninjured as he was able to walk off here, and he was back at the racetrack the next day. Let's talk more about the way Pro Stockers are supposed to work, Tony.
1,400 horsepower in all steel, all big block Chevy, 500 equipped with electronic fuel injection, 5-speed transmissions, either a 6 1/4 inch or a 7-inch clutch with 3 friction discs that will work as the driver releases the clutch at close to 6,500 engine RPM, allowing for a 60-foot performance in well under 1 second.
And the Pro Stock cars are very efficient in their movement. You don't see big wheel stands. You don't see anything but no wasted movement, only forward when they let the clutch pedal out. Dallas Glenn has been plowing forward in this countdown. Back-to-back race wins. He seems to have shaken off whatever the bad things that have befallen him in years past over the course of the final 6 races of the season. He's going for the Texas 3-step. He's already won back-to-back in Charlotte and St. Louis. He has never won in any capacity 3 straight races on the NHRA Tour, and the last person to win 3 straight races, Eric Enders, who just so happens to be a defending world champion. Bruno Massel is with Dallas Glenn.
There's something to be said for peaking at the right time, especially when it's the countdown to the championship, and Dallas Glenn has done just that. Back-to-back wins in the countdown, it gives you the points lead by a slim margin. Today it's going to be hot, it's going to be nasty. How does that plan out or work out for your guys' setup?
Well, I mean, historically we do pretty good in the hot, greasy track, so we're definitely, even though I was kind of done over the heat, it should kind of play into our hand a little bit. We tend to do pretty good. But, even though I've been peaking at the right time, so is Aaron Stanfield. He's right there. He's qualified 4th, I'm qualified 5th. We're only 11 thousandths behind number 1, so it's definitely going to be a really tough battle. And I got a really tough draw with TJ first round, but, we've got the whole Rad Torque crew here. So I'm going to go try to see if we can put on a good show for the fans and turn on some wind lights.
The ladder for Pro Stock presented by Lucas Oil will show us Stanfield taking on McGay. Hey, Dallas has a very tough customer in Troy Coughlin Jr.
Well, likewise, so does Jake Coughlin Jr. taking on Corey Reed. A couple of quadras, one up against Chris McGay. A very important Pro Stock battle here. The winner of these two Elite Motorsports entries will face Greg Anderson next round. Man, 004 reaction time for Fernando Quadra Jr. That is going to be plenty for the Corral Boots Ford Mustang. 660 at a 209 knocks out Jerry Tucker. So Cameron Caruso now will take on Matt Hartford, and Cameron Caruso is joined this weekend by some special guests.
Cameron Caruso and her team are racing with Meaning here this weekend in the month of October. Pink fire suit, pink car. What's going on?
It's super awesome. True Brand supports the National Breast Cancer Foundation all year round with their Fuel Jewels products. So to be able to represent them here with the pink, with Meaning in October is just so awesome. And I'm so thankful for the opportunity that they give me. It's awesome. Ashley's out here with us, and Crystal and Amber, and it's just been a really great time with them and to race with a cause, like you said.
I saw you ladies taking in the action at the starting line. What was that like for you?
Incredible. I mean, it's so much bigger than pink, right? But we love being down there because when people see pink, it reminds them to prioritize their breast health, and that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, we're just super excited to be here with NBCF and Camry Crusoe. They actually give to women who can't afford it. They pay for mammograms. So it's a great foundation. We're just very proud that we brought NHRA the awareness to get their screenings and save lives now.
Thank you guys for being with us here this weekend.
A worthy cause and certainly a fantastic way to maintain and raise awareness. As Matt Hartford now begins to stage the hose connection. Whoa, Hartford's trying to change lanes. Caruso has problems, and it's Hartford able to gather his car up to any semblance to get it to the finish line here. What has just been a collection of oddball and bizarre runs continues into Pro Stock. 7:54. What is this? Turn back the clock, Dave? I think they ran that here at about 89. You can watch the tire shake, and pretty good reflexes here for Hartford to keep that thing on his side of the fence. Well, here's a look at the onboard. You can see how Matt Hartford is up on the wheel, but you see what he does is he gets in gear and pulls the motor down. That allows him to regain control. Again, another self-preservation style victory. We've seen it across all classes and categories so far as Corey Reed and Jake Coughlin Jr. now get ready to take on the starting line. The Skag Power Equipment Cat's Eye Gold Camaro for Coughlin. The J&A Service blue and white traditional coloration for Reed. Of course, Coughlin is still part of the countdown. He is a guy who still does have an outside shot. He's 5 in the points right now. A couple of hundred back. Needs a miracle. Delivers himself an 0:16 reaction time, and Corey Reed loses on a hole shot. 6:58 beats a 6:57. Well, that makes a difference on the racetrack. A good reaction time from Corey Reed, but a considerably better when you factor in these are Pro Stock cars, and a lot of races are determined on the starting line. And there you have it, a nose length for Jake Coughlin across the finish line. And now we can see David Quadra making a career best qualified start with no opponent because he was supposed to be racing Chris McGay. And when we are rapidly turning this drag strip into an infirmary for broken drag racing cars, McGay's car broke on the starting line. Quadra will run to a 662 at 208 unopposed. Now Mason McGay will try to avenge his father's loss here just moments ago. Aaron Stanfield, the Melling Performance Johnson's horsepower garage car. McGahey was in the same ballpark on the starting line, but it appears and is the fact that Stanfield has the quicker car. 6:55.9 outruns a 6:57.6, and he put About 8th out of his pocket leaving the line.
Well, he was definitely in the same zip code. Gave him a pretty good race up till the 8th mile, and then it became about horsepower for Aaron.
It certainly did, unless you think our ability to break race cars started only on Sunday morning. Oh, no. We've been at this since Friday night. Greg Anderson is on a solo because Eric Latino had Friday evening. He did end up the 16th qualifier, and Greg has a competition single. How low will he go? The only question left to answer, he'll go low for the round so far, 6:54.3 at 2:10. Now back to the starting line. Christian Quadra, left side of your screen, the Corral Boots Mustang, and Eric Anders, the number 2 qualifier on the right. Quadra is out by a thou at the starting line. A good drag race, but the Johnson's Horsepower Garage Camaro reigns supreme. 6:57.9 at 209 miles an hour. Erica advances on to the second round to face Matt Hartford. Dallas Glenn and Troy Coughlin Jr., final pair of the first round. Stanfield has advanced. Erica has advanced. Anderson has advanced. Your ball now, Dallas. And off the starting line, they leave almost evenly. The Rad Torque Systems Camaro locked in with Coughlin. It is a 6:58, beating a 6:60, and Dallas Glenn has advanced with the rest of his pals.
Yeah, the separation starts early in this race for Dallas Glenn. He's quicker in 60 feet. He extends that lead by 300 feet, by 660 feet, and just pulls away for the victory.
And so we look one more time as the reaction times within the 3,000ths. Both cars very nicely locked down to the drag strip. Coughlin gave him a good run for his money, but Dallas Glenn, the points leader, moves on to round number 2. Let's ride with him. The Summit onboard showing us that 209-mile-an-hour trip as we get a look at our Lucas Oil competition ladder. Not a ladder full of surprises in the second round, but look at this. Aaron Stanfield, Dallas Glenn, round 2, could be a moment that helps to decide a championship. Anders Hartford, Quadra Coughlin. We now go to the top end as Eric Anders has joined Amanda Busing after a first-round win.
She's looking for 3 wins here in a row in front of the fans at the Texas Motorplex. And Erica, you and Matt Hartford, we've seen what is capable at the starting line. What will you be ready for?
Well, I learned a valuable lesson a few years back here against Matt Hartford, and I've never let anybody take control of the starting line since then. So hopefully it's just a good old-fashioned drag race where people can put their egos in their pockets and we'll just go out there and have a great time. But for JHG, Jason and Nikki are here this weekend as well as Janelle, so we're excited to have them, and we have a ton of fabulous Skag dealers in the house. This is serves as their home race as well, and super proud of Justin Ashley and Dan Wilkerson and Jag for getting the win for Skag this morning. But we have a long, hot day ahead of us. We thank the fans for being here. We're ready to go.
This week's Fendt record-setting performances talks about Eric Anders and what she has been able to do, not just here, but across her career. The most NHRA wins among women, 48 professional wins, 1 sportsman win, sitting on the number 49 since Gainesville when she got that 49th victory. See Angel, Shirley Muldowney, Brittany, and Courtney Forrest all on that list. Gage Herrera will be coming up next when we come back for Pro Stock Motorcycle round number 1 competition. The Texas Motorplex has been throwing curveballs all morning. Will this guy fall prey to some weirdness? I mean, he has a buy run. What could possibly happen? I'm almost afraid to ask. Stay with us.
Tonight on Fox, it's Game 1 of the NLCS. Francisco Lindor leads the Mets against Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers. Game 1 tonight at 8 Eastern on Fox.
As a head football coach, my job is to teach these boys to worship is what it means to win.
God, family, football. New series streaming now. Part of Fox Faith on Fox Nation. Sign up at foxnation.com.
So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking about our honeymoon. What about Africa? Safari. Hot air balloon ride. Swim with elephants. Wait, can we afford a safari?
Great question. Like everything, takes a little planning.
Or put the money towards a down payment
On a ranch
in Montana.
with horses.
Let's take a look at those scenarios.
JP Morgan Wealth Management has advisors in Chase branches and tools like Wealth Plan to help keep you on track. When you're planning for it all, the answer is JP Morgan Wealth Management.
All my favorites for just $7 each? That's crazy. Or am I crazy?
Seeing sevens? It's a sign to order from Pizza Hut's $7 deal lovers menu.
crispiness, the chewiness, the straight up deliciousness. It's not just good, it's oh my goodness! Wow, it's exciting.
I didn't have to spend my life trying to find my calling. Mine found me at an early age. It was just a matter of how good I could get and how far I would go.
At Ram, our calling is to build trucks. So when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
Right now during Ram Power Days, get $4,000 cash allowance on the purchase of most 2025 Ram 1500 trucks. Don't miss Ram Power Days. Hurry in today.
When you step into a Warby Parker store, you're immediately met by, well, glasses. But there's more than meets the eye. Like contact lenses, we carry all the top brands. And friendly doctors who perform top-notch eye exams. And expert advisors who can help you find the perfect pair. All at affordable prices, like prescription glasses starting at $95 affordable. Visit one of our hundreds of stores around the country. Chances are there's one near you.
With Chime, I get to decide when I get paid. It's kind of crazy. We can't choose when we get paid. Chime changed that for me. My pay lets me get up to $500 of my pay when I need it. There's no interest, no credit checks, no mandatory fees. My pay gives me the freedom to handle anything that life brings. I have big goals, and I'm not waiting for payday anymore. And you shouldn't either. That's why I Chime. Join me at chime.com and get paid when you say.
The Stampede of Speed really got underway last week with the Stars Over Texas country music concert. Thousands and thousands of fans came out to the Texas MOTORPLEX, which included a drag racing interlude during the evening and culminated with the lighting of thousands of paper lanterns with messages that then flew up into the sky, creating an incredible visual. A visual that has become so much a signature of the Stampede of Speed, but no more lanterns, we're talking bikes. A weight range of close to 650 pounds, that's including the rider atop of a 400 horsepower inline Suzuki or a two-cylinder V-twin that have both registered top speeds at over 200 miles per hour, 6-speed transmissions, and a very aggressive high RPM launch that mean the rider has to leverage their body weight and not only gain performance, but also to help steer this machine down a quarter of a mile. We think about cowboys, we think about the horses they rode, and they were most commonly riding quarter horses back in the day, known for their smaller, compact size and muscular, quick nature. The quarter horse and the pro stock motorcycle have so much in common, and Gage Herrera has been a cowboy that has been leading this category in such spectacular fashion over the last 2 years. This historic start he's been on. The 19th career win for Gage Herrera came in the 33rd race of his career, and it could be 20 wins in 34 races. It took Glidden 50 to do it. Bruno Massel was with Gage Herrera.
Gage Herrera has an opportunity to put his name in the record books once again. If he gets one victory in his next 17 starts, he'll be the fastest driver rider to reach 20 in NHRA history. Gage, the records keep falling for you in this team. The performance is back on this bike. Is today the day you get this one?
I don't know, we're going to try. I didn't even know I was in the opportunity to do that. Set another record, which is just crazy to me. I mean, we've set so many records, but, it's not only me, it's the whole Fancy Hines, Revzilla, Motul, Suzuki team that is doing it with me. Andrew, all of them. So I can't get any of these records without them, and we're going to go out there today, race day here at Texas, and see what we can do.
Gage Herrera will be unopposed in the first round, much to the dismay of everybody else, including Matt Smith. Steve Johnson will take on Gino Scali. Matt Smith will start in that number 2 position, taking on Phillips Jr., John Hall, Mark Ingerson, Hector Ronner Jr., and Ryan Ayler. So we kick things off here with Richard Gadsden and Chase Van Zandt. One of the things that has been a hallmark of these two young riders in the category is how they have gotten up to really compete hardcore with each other. And as they leave the starting line, they've done it again. A 007 reaction time for Van Zandt, 16 green for Gadsden, and chalked this one up to Chase Van Zandt, 680 at 199. He beat him on a whole shot in St. Louis, and he beat him straight up here. Just a race of two very well-prepared younger riders that are very hungry, that have good machines, and like you said, Brian, they put on a heck of a show. They always bring it. They are young and they are talented in this class, as Chris Bostic and Angie Smith now. The Surf Suzuki. And an Enzo black bike for Angie. Angie's bike hiking the front tire up there when she was making gear changes, and she is going to drive away from Bostic. A 680 outruns a 694.
And Bostic was in the race to 300 feet. It was a nice hole shot for Angie, but that's where that V-twin really starts to kick in. It's beyond 400 feet. Take a listen.
Little bouncing there. You can see her wrestling with the steering of the handlebars for a moment. Maintain control. The Denso onboard camera takes us for a nice ride. A round-winning ride with Angie Smith. Now it is John Hall and pesky Mark Ingwerson. Ingwerson out of Findlay, Ohio. Hall out of Connecticut. Hall goes red. Ingwerson is outside of the countdown of the championship, but he has been coming to these races, and he does carry with him a very strong reputation as a starting line specialist, and it worked for him there.
Yeah, for John Hall, if it makes you feel any better, he did outrun you by 0.03 of a second, but a -10 on a reaction time, that is just an adjustment, a simple adjustment on one of these bikes.
Hector Rana Jr., the Getrex Mule. Ryan Ayler. The Bandito Tequila. V-twin powered machine. It is all Arana here. End to end. Ayler did get off the blocks on it, but a 680 outruns a 697 that Ayler put up on the board. The Getrex team slaps 5 and hits back to the pit area. His father in the white cap. Ron Torno and Gianna Evaristo. Torno's bike sounds to be idling raggedly here, and it goes nowhere. Goes absolutely nowhere. Gianna Evaristo, 004 green. And she will go to the finish line, 689.5. Savvy move by Torno. Even if you know the bike's not running right, if you stage it and she goes red, you still win the round.
Yeah, I'm sure he realized he was dead in the water, and it may not have mattered for Gianna. She was very well prepared for that round.
Gino Scali, the Vance and Hines machine across the racetrack. The Wings and Warriors bike of Steve Johnson. Scali goes red. And Steve Johnson, with the throttle cranked open, who has had a reasonably impressive weekend, continues that trend. 677.4.
You look at Steve Johnson's performance, not in this first round, but in qualifying, and that could be the cause of that red light, that foul start for Gino Scali.
And now we get one look here. This is Gage Herrera. This week's Suzuki Science to Speed deals with one thing, and maybe the only thing that has slowed these motorcycles down: the heat.
For a race weekend in October, Dallas is giving us a weekend that has high temperatures in the 90s as well as track temperatures over 100 degrees. Where is performance challenged in these environments?
Well, historically, the issue has been humidity with these motorcycles. We lose efficiency with how much horsepower you make per cubic inch, and when the humidity goes up, we are the most efficient engine really out here at 14,000 RPM, so it just saps the performance right out of these motorcycles. So we're trying to figure out how to combat that with fuel and timing and getting the whole combination right. Lately, the heat hasn't been the problem. We thought that was earlier in the year, but lately it's been more humidity. And historically here in Dallas and the upcoming races in Vegas and Pomona, it's drier, so we're looking for better performance out of our Suzuki.
You always learn something every time we talk to Andrew Hines. Has such a command of these machines. His rider has a wholly different style of command as the Motul, Vance and Hines, Revzilla, Hayabusa stops the clocks for a low ET of the round. There's a run in the mid-670s here for Gage Herrera, outpacing even the best by 200s, running 675 with an 8. Let's ride with him. I should challenge anybody watching by saying, you do better. So far, nobody has. We get a look at our competition ladder for Gage Herrera. He will have an opponent next round, and that opponent will be the swiftly leaving Chase Van Zandt. Evaristo and Johnson, Smith, Ingwerson, and then Arana and Angie Smith. Matt Smith spoke to Amanda once he completed his run.
Matt, your wife was just over here, and she said on NHRA.tv earlier that the whole team's effort right now is putting you in a position to win a championship. Why is it now or never?
Yeah, I mean, we just got to, every bike of our team's got to win each round right now and help me. Like they said, probably the only one on our team that has a fighting chance to get this Denso, Outlaw Bear, Mark Stock said, Red Butcher Truck and Smith Truck, and everybody else, this IGTG. Thank you for being here and helping us, and we appreciate it.
And So Matt Smith, not only him, but he's racing with an army. When we come back, it will be top fuel battle for round number 2, a day that may begin to settle itself with its nerves and performance. It will be Tony Schumacher and Brittany Force when we return.
The best teams win, on the track and in the shop. Join the Gerber Collision and Glass team to start winning today. Every crash, crunch, and smash lets you earn, well, you learn. We provide the tools and training to help you get paid for what you're good at. Solving, hustling, fixing. In the art of repairing someone's ride and making their day. The best part? We have openings right now. Fast track your future. Scan the code or visit GerberCareers.com. Gerber Collision and Glass, proud sponsor of the NHRA.
What's up?
Who are you?
I'm your inner child. Get in. Listen, what you really need in life is some freaking torque. Oh yeah, man. Horsepower keeps you going, but torque gets you going. Oh, now we're torquing.
I love car puns.
I know.
What was a close shave in round 1? And for Clay Milliken, they busted light on the wall for the Parts Plus Top Fuel Dragster in round 1. Our K&N Key storylines. Justin Ashley defeated Antron Brown. Now he's less than a single round back at a points lead in Top Fuel. Blake Alexander stopped Bob Task in the third, bumping him back. And Jack Beckman did not arrive at the racetrack today, sidelined with vertigo, unable to drive his funny car. It did not appear in the first round. And so now we move ahead. We can see Forrest Schumacher, Langdon Ashley, Reed Milliken, and the two Torrance boys will race in the second round of Top Fuel. Here are the 8 remaining cars. On the racetrack right now, it is Tony Schumacher and Brittany Force. Doors open for Tony. This is the moment in time. Can you snatch the stones out of the hand of the master?
It is wide open, and he is the quicker car, rather, quicker car coming in this matchup at 126 degrees now on the racetrack.
Great battle here. Finish line stripe. It is going to be a whole shot win for Schumacher. 379.7 beats a 379.0 in 078 light. that one kind of played out the way we might have thought it would. And Brittany had an 0.35 light in the first round, but she falls back to 105.
Yeah, and that was a little bit of a distraction for her. She's trying to get back on track, and this is one of the things that Tony Schumacher does so well. He is just steady money when it comes to the late rounds, to the big matchups like this. Both cars nearly identical on the racetrack, 0.07 of a second slower for Tony Schumacher, however, better off the line.
With that round win, Tony Schumacher has just overhauled Doug Coletta in the points. And so now we can see that as what it looked like at the finish line. Bruno is at the starting line between the Torrance boys.
You know, Brian, talking with a lot of the crew chief, and especially Chad Head from Kahana Motorsports, our team manager, and what he told me is that the track conditions, while we're up about 7 degrees, UV is up because the sun is beating on this track so hard that the track is actually performing like a much cooler track. Obviously, it's all concrete, it's nice and smooth, and it makes it so much easier for the tuners to get down. So right now, he said it's like a 126-degree track. It's acting more like a 105 to 110 area, which allows them a bigger tuning window.
I think the two cars that just ran directly in front of this pair just proved that it is very manageable.
Cylinders out on one side and a wind light coming on for Steve Torrance, 381 at 325 miles an hour. Reaction times, both big-time triple-digit jobs up there.
Yeah, and this is only going to get Steve Torrance in trouble. He's able to get away with it, and maybe he was just a little at ease racing his dad. You can see problems set in for the Billy Torrance machine. We've seen such good races by these two. For Steve Torrance, again, a slow reaction time. He knows better than anyone. He's going to have to pick up the pace as the level of competition will ramp up from this stage forward.
Tony Schumacher has advanced to the finals, and he had everything to say about it with Amanda.
Tony, even a veteran like yourself, what does it sound like hearing you win on a whole shot?
It's amazing because I don't usually do that. My strength is keeping the car straight. You go back and watch the videos. Straightness is the way, the path right there, man, you know, to the winner's circle. And I keep the car straight. I'm not the best lever. We all know who is. He's coming up here in a few minutes. But, you know, for Okuma, Leatherwood, Rack Financial, Joe from Texas.com, all the people, love you guys. That's a big round like that. The chutes came out and I saw her car go by and I looked at it and I saw my light. I double checked it. I triple checked it. Didn't even look up, see what we ran, but heck of a job for the team, man. We're good when it's hot out. We're not great at night, but we're good when it's hot out.
And it just so happens to be one of those warm Sundays here in Texas. The Pep Boys drone, Sean Reed, Clay Milligan. They had to put the motor back together, Bruno.
Yeah, Brian, they had to put the entire, it's basically everything new. They didn't put anything back together. They put all new stuff in, from the injector, the supercharger, all the way down. Everything was destroyed. It basically came down to, they lost track of the water grain to compression ratio. He said they had about 5,000 too much compression in, and that caused the thing to detonate, and that's where it cost them that motor. So a very big price ticket for that first round victory. They got everything new in this car, and they're just got their fingers crossed that it's the right combination for these weather conditions.
On Sean Reed's side of the racetrack, it is an ever-growing tide of confidence in this race car's performance from the top down. Nice side-by-side. This time it is Clay Milligan, 375.9 at 330 miles an hour. The best run of the round so far by 4/100ths of a second.
Well, it's good tuning. It's good assessing the damage. When you over-compress a car, it hammers the bearings. It can bend the rods. It does a lot of damage to the engine. They were able to figure that out. And having a motor that'll get to the finish line and having it tuned properly and still be able to maintain a good level of horsepower is everything that they did right. They rely on a good driver to be that steady off the starting line when you have a good competitive car in the other lane. And that's what this team is able to do, is they are able to win clutch races.
And let's give some credit to Sean Reed and his team again. Reed left 1,000th ahead of Milligan. He was there in the starting line. The car made a more than respectable 377, which would have been low ET of the round had not Milligan been next to him. Final pair of round two. Sean Langdon, the man who exhibited otherworldly levels of patience in the longest tree in Top Fuel drag racing history since, well, I don't know, we introduced the thing in 1963, will be taking on Justin Ashley. There is no room for any sort of error here on either side to start this drag race.
It can be a very interesting matchup because Sean Langdon had the quickest car, that 372. I don't think they can push that hard. However, for Justin Ashley, I do believe if they can stay on track and run another 377, they got a driver they can rely on to give you at least a couple of hundredths off the starting line.
Pay very close attention to how deep the front tires move in a fully staged here. quite thinly staged. 45, a tire smoker, and a massive explosion for Langdon. He pedaled the car when he saw Ashley was having trouble and turned that thing into a fruit salad over there. And Justin Ashley goes at 95 at 291.
These are the brakes that Justin Ashley needs. And these are the brakes that anyone needs to get to a championship for Justin Ashley. They've never really gone his way. There's a problem right there, and Sean Langdon did nothing wrong. He was chasing it. He probably heard and realized Justin Ashley was having problems of his own. There's those rear tires breaking loose. He's on the throttle. Now, when he opens the blades, you notice that we spoke earlier of another driver that in fact, it was Austin Prock in Funny Car. When you go back wide open, it allows those rear tires to break loose again. It over revs the engine. I'm not saying that wasn't a call for Sean Langdon. However, that was a very costly mistake on his part. You can see Justin Ashley having problems slightly farther down the track, so he had the better momentum at that stage.
So Justin Ashley escapes by the skin of his teeth. 395-1 and 291 will move him on to the next round. He will face Tony Schumacher. Schumacher will have a lane choice. The 12 qualifiers, Milliken and Torrance and Wright. Most importantly for Justin Ashley, he has now assumed the points lead in Top Fuel Eliminator, something that he has come into a countdown with, but has never finished with. It is only 4 now, but that could stretch itself handily for Ashley if he can make his way to the end of this race and win it. Note that Tony Schumacher has passed Doug Coletta for 5th. Sean Langdon is now very vulnerable and could be overtaken by both Torrance and Schumacher by the end of the day. When we come back, Nitro Funny Cars.
Getting the first deal at Subway has never been easier. Just buy any footlong in the app, get another free. The only hard part is telling Travis he doesn't get the second footlong.
Wait, seriously?
I got you next time, buddy. Order now in the Subway app.
Upset stomach? Ibirogast. Indigestion? Ibirogast. Bloating? Ibirogast. Thanks to a unique combination of herbs, Ibirogast helps relieve 6 digestive symptoms to help you feel better. 6 digestive symptoms, the power of nature. Ibirogast.
Looking for what comes next? For that moment when everything finally...
1 minute!
Whichever path you choose, it starts here.
I didn't have to spend my life trying to find my calling. Mine found me at an early age. It was just a matter of how good I could get and how far I would go.
At Ram, our calling is to build trucks. So when you find your call, nothing can stop you from answering it.
Right now during Ram Power Days, get $4,000 cash allowance on the purchase of most 2025 Ram 1500 trucks. Don't miss Ram Power Days. Hurry in today.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means turning some rust into rolling artwork. Built with Summit means you're making something that was already fast, even faster. It means that your project will be on the road or track long after you've bolted it together. And Built with Summit means you're doing it with in-stock parts, fast shipping, expert advice, and the best prices. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
Why has America accepted the wait for payday when life doesn't wait for you to get paid? Introducing MyPay from Chime, a revolutionary new way of getting your pay when you want. Get up to $500 of your pay before payday. No interest, no credit check, no mandatory fees. When any day is payday, it's a good day. Get paid when you say with MyPay. Get started at Chime.com.
This is the story of the one who doesn't just see a broken dock. He sees lost revenue, a late night, and work stalled to a halt. Thankfully, he has the experience to handle whatever comes his way and has Grainger on his side, offering access to technical product specialists and the scale to deliver fast, so he can keep his business in gear and always moving forward. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Texas NHRA Fall Nationals is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Lucas Oil.
the world leader in high-performance lubricants and problem-solving additives.
Hey, Ron, this is Tony and Brian in the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
Once again, things are heating up quite a bit. Competition, the level ramps up in the second round. How do you play this out?
Well, I trust in what Guido's doing. He's been in the box a few more times than usual, as are a lot of these crew chiefs, but that Napa get up and go is what I brag about in Guido. This is when you need it. Track hot. Soft concrete, Tony, as you know, it's a great racetrack and it holds itself. But these are the rounds that we got to speak out.
Be ready for anything. Thanks.
Got it.
Now let's look at the competition ladder. Who is Ron Capps racing? Oh, just the guy who ran the quickest lap of the first round in Blake Alexander. Austin Brock will take on KG Paul Lee. Hagan and Pedregon, it will be Chad Green and Daniel Wilkerson. First pair on the drag strip will be Austin Brock, Lee Camaro, and Paul Lee in the stretches. Power Build Tools Dodge. Bruno, you're down there in the stretches. Power Build Tools Dodge. Bruno, you're down there in the starting line.
Yeah, moments ago I talked to Thomas Brock and asked him what the expectations were for his conditions right now, and he said that right now a really good run in funny car would be at 93. He told me that both he and his father felt really confident in the tune-up they put in this car around one, and for some point it just ripped the tires loose down track. He's not really sure how or why. It's kind of a head scratcher, so they have that little concern as they stage up here in round two.
Now, we've seen some warmer temperatures over the course of the weekend, but we have not quite seen 94 degrees.
Here's Johnny Lindbergh, who works in concert with John Medlin to tune this race car, and they have done a fine job of it so far. Both cars leave the starting line. Paul Lee's car spins the tires mildly. A 394 beats a 4.008 at 314. Austin Prock, they wanted a 93 as a great run. They ran a 94.
Yeah, and that's when a tuner, your driver is in sync with the decisions that they're making on this car. When they can call their shot and execute it, it's just going to be hard to stop them. This is a team that rarely makes mistakes. They slipped up in the first round. They rebounded from that, and this is what Paul Lee does so well. We saw the way that he staged. There to stage, again, just a good tactic, utilizing some of the real estate on the starting line, giving himself a slight head start and being in the race up until the finish line.
People were nervous about Justin Ashley only making one qualifying session. He now speeds his way into a semifinal. Amanda spoke to him after that win.
Well, you're looking at your points leader now in Top Fuel. And Justin, I have to tell you what is weighing on all these runs right now. But a year ago when you were hoping to contend in this championship, and now you are the points leader. What a difference that makes.
It's incredible. It's incredible what a difference a day makes, let alone a year. I'm just so grateful to be here right now and compete for this championship. No matter what happens, it's going to be a battle. I'm sure it's going to come down to Pomona, but every single round is so important right now. And our whole Skag Power Equipment, Toyota Phillips team has been working so hard for this very moment, really beginning the offseason. So for Skag Southwest, all of our dealers and distributors, we're going to put some Mac tools back in this thing, throw some Lucas oil in there, come back and try and do it again.
Simply put, for the last few seasons, the round that he just won is not a round that team would have won. Things did not go their way in those moments, but they certainly have this year. We'll find out how the rest of the day goes for Justin. As it happens, Ron Capps now next to Blake Alexander, that fearsome Toronto Auto Service Center head contractor's car, and this, of course, is Napa Toyota.
I think Ron Capps can easily make a race out of this. You mentioned that Blake Alexander had the quickest run, that 387 in the first round. They're not going to target that. They know that track won't hold that kind of performance, so they have to pull it back. I think in this case, Ron Capps, based on that 391 in the first round, they only have to pull their car back about 2 to 3 hundredths of a second to be competitive.
Blake has had a long association with Toronto Auto Service Center. It's a decade now. He and his wife Leah have been working with Pronto. Over 360 employees on the property today. And for Ron Capps, that Napa relationship goes back to time immemorial, it seems. He has delivered them championships and more as Dean Antonelli walks to the back of the car. And Alex's car just roasts the rear tires. Ron Capps on a 7-cylinderized engine goes 394.5.
Well, right on the money there. This car would have run quicker than a 394 had it not pulled the tires loose near this finish line.
This week's Dodge Tales from the Script takes us back to the 1986 NHRA Fall Nationals at what was then the brand new Texas Motorplex. One thing to pay close attention to here is look at the surface. It is so interesting to look at this because tracks were not prepared the same way they are today back then. Of course, you can see how narrow the groove was, but Kenny Bernstein set a new national record in the 550s in Nitro Funny Car. Mark Oswald driving the old Milwaukee beer car, roaring down the racetrack next to Tim Groves, ripped his way through the finish line, setting a speed record at 268 miles an hour. And they weren't done yet in the top fuel category. Heating the rear tires in his beautiful-looking dragster was Darrell Gwynn, who set both the ET and speed records that year. Simply put, the world's first concrete drag strip set the world aflame.
Well, not only did they like where the track at, they loved the fact that the stands were full, and it wasn't very forgiving, but it was awful quick right down the center of the lane.
Bruno's at the starting line with more on Chad Green.
I'm here on the starting line. Just a moment ago, Brian, I got a chance to catch up with Dean Marinas and asked him about his philosophy or his game plan here. And he said round one, we were trying to get after, playing him simple, got a little too aggressive in the back half and caused it to spin the tires down track. He said early in the run, and Wilkerson's now just a matter of getting the right wing into it to keep the tires glued and slowing down those clutch blows a little bit.
Here is Richard Hartman, as we've heard now, the strategic approach for Chad Green. We'll see what Dan Wilkerson could dial up here, his father, of course, in charge of the tune-up. Cylinders out for Green, and that'll do it. Dan Wilkerson is heading to the semifinals, 394.4. 394.5, 394.5, and a 394.4 won this round.
No, don't forget, I think the farther that Dan Wilkerson goes into competition, I think the more he increases his stock in the Rookie of the Year. This is a guy that's flown under the radar that really hasn't had the best car at times, and when they give him a good car, he does a very good job with it. And for Chad Green, problems right away, but it's going to be hard to stop this car on a day like this when they qualify so well, when they adjust from when it's cool to when it's hot, and they stay on track with the front runners.
So we'll find out now if a 94-something will keep the trend alive here for either Cruz Pedregon, and 3 times runner-up here, including one to you.
Yes, I remember those. I remember them well. And, right now, they had some problems in the first round. He only ran a 401, but they had some issues. They burned a piston. He rolled in deep. If they make the right adjustments, I think they can be very competitive against Matt Hagan.
Hagan wearing the Johnson's Horsepower Garage colors. A little bit of extra time maybe under the body here, but now it comes down. The Hellcat Charger-bodied funny car. Both machines wearing that same style body. Crew Chief Jason Bunker looks across the racetrack and now will give Cruz the point ahead. For lane choice, the winner has to be better than 394.4. Like Pedregon was driving away from him, and then the car shut off. 397.4 at 327. Perhaps a pressure switch killed it or not, but a 397 for Hagan's good enough.
Well, not only did it look like he was ahead, he was ahead in every increment. He was better off the starting line, better in 60 feet, better in 330 feet by 0.03 of a second, and 0.04 better, or quicker rather, at 660 feet. And I think that's where things started to go south for this snap-on machine. Maybe too aggressive as this car approached the 1/8 of a mile. You'll likely see it start to unload those rear tires, start to spin just before it knocks that supercharger off. But it may not have spun much. They had this problem in qualifying.
And Hagan likely knew that there was a diminishing light at the end of the tunnel for him, and then he just disappeared, roaring ahead of Pedregon when his car gave up the ghost. Dan Wilkerson won his round and, as always, was fired up.
Daniel, Tony Pedregon just said that you're flying under the radar on this Rookie of the Year contestant. What do you want the voting body to know about you?
Well, I want them to know to not look at that run too close. I don't know what happened, but I missed it. So we're going to fix that problem. We'll try to look at the other runs we made in the countdown with Tim Wilkerson behind us and all these people from SCAG. I think we've got a pretty damn good chance. Thank you.
He's fired up, and this is a guy who's now making a climb in the points. It is Proc on caps on one side, Hagan and Wilkerson on the other, and we can see that Austin Proc will have lane choice, but not by much. They ran virtually identical elapsed times down to just a couple of fractions of a second. That'll be a great battle. And Hagan and Wilkerson, of course, Dan Wilkerson carrying lane choice with him into the semifinals. Pro Stock is on tap when we return to the Texas Motorplex, and Dallas Glenn's trying to grab another round and keep his points lead. He'll be racing Aaron Stanfield.
It's Fox College Football Friday.
So here we go.
Heisman contender Dylan Gabriel leads third-ranked Oregon
Touchdown for the Ducks.
against Purdue.
Unbelievable.
It all kicks off at 8 Eastern on Fox.
Today's gonna be nuts.
This Monday, the stakes have never been deadlier.
Go, 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 go. Hold on.
I lost him! She had him in her arms, and now he's gone.
Rescue High Surf, all new Monday at 9 on Fox.
Meet the traveling trio. The thrill seeker, the soul searcher, and ahoy, it's the explorer. Each helping to protect their money with Chase. Whoa, a lost card isn't keeping this thrill seeker down. Lost her card, not the vibe. The soul searcher is finding his identity and helping to protect it. Oh yeah, the explorer. She's looking to dive deeper, all while Chase looks out for her. Because these friends have Chase. Alerts that help check, tools that help protect, one bank that puts you in control. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Milo's Rewards Week is here. Milo's knows when you get a big deal, you feel like a big deal. Members save on hundreds of deals, in-store and online. It's kind of a big deal. Join for free and save through October 16th.
All my favorites for just $7 each? That's crazy. Or am I crazy?
Seeing sevens? It's a sign to order from Pizza Hut's $7 Deal Lovers menu.
Sup?
Who are you?
I'm your inner child. Get in. Listen, what you really need in life is some freaking torque. Oh yeah, man. Horsepower keeps you going, but torque gets you going. Oh, now we're torquing.
I love car puns.
Oh, I know. Power shot.
The Dodge Hornet RT, the totally torqued out crossover.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Is the weight of monthly payments dragging you under? It's not your fault. It's the system designed to trap you in a cycle of debt. A system of skyrocketing gas prices, crippling interest rates, and relentless inflation, forcing you into the credit card trap. What if you could break free with just one affordable low monthly payment? Credit Associates offers a powerful solution. Our debt relief program can help you resolve your debt in as little as 24 to 36 months, saving you thousands and cutting decades off your debt. Call 1-800-573-6757. There is light at the end of the tunnel. For over 15 years, the Credit Associates team has been trusted by thousands escaping credit card debt. One call is all it takes to start your debt-free journey. Don't declare bankruptcy. Don't consolidate. A few minutes could save you thousands. Even better, there are no upfront fees, just results. Beat the system. Call Credit Associates and discover how much you could save. 1-800-573-6757. Live better, debt-free.
This afternoon, there will be 8 rounds of competition left, and the final 4 will be contested at the In-N-Out Burger NHRA Finals, In-N-Out Burger Pomona Drag Strip, November 14th to the 17th. It is points and a half. It concludes the season, and it will bring a dramatic end to a beautiful and awesome 2024 Mission Foods NHRA Drag Racing Series as we look at our Lucas Oil Round 2 ladder for Pro Stock. The first pair we will see on the racetrack will include Jake Coughlin Jr. and David Quadra, the two competitors from Elite Motorsports, the Skag Machine, the Outlaw Mile High Light Beer, as well as Quadra and Corral Boots, the family business for David Quadra. And Jag once again just ripping the Christmas tree During the first round, he was in 016. This round, he is in 014 on the tree, and he advances 662 to 665. Matt Hagan talked to Amanda after grabbing his second round win.
And your thoughts when you saw Cruz in trouble?
He beat me like a drum until he wasn't, you know, and he come by me and I said, oh no, we in trouble, and you know, and then we blew by him, so that's why you hold it down to the very end, I guess, you know, but Cruz is always a good racer. Those guys Dodge sponsored, we're obviously Dodge sponsored, but you know, we need to get this Dodge in the winner's circle. We got JHG on the car, and I haven't won for them in ever, so let's make it happen this weekend here at Hot Dallas Racetrack.
And Matt was fully aware of Cruz's position well ahead of him. Matt Hartford, the Total Seal piston rings on board. We're in the hose connection. Rob's towing and Getrex colors. We heard Erica talk after the last round. She said, Matt and I raced a few years ago here, learned a valuable lesson. She played into the game he was trying to play. She has not done it since, and it has gone her way almost exclusively.
Well, he may try a different kind of game right about now, and he's got some adjustments to make. I'm sure his tuner, Eddie Guanacci, they had to look at the data, figure out why the car had the wheel speed, why it shook, and of course, Matt Hartford did a very nice job reeling the car in and advancing into this round, but he has some performance to make up here. She's making him wait.
Yeah, she's hanging him out to drive from pre-stage on, and Matt Hartford's out early. He had a slight advantage off the starting line. Is there enough race car to stop Erica Enders? And it is on a hole shot. You got to be kidding me. 661.6 at 208 miles an hour. Enders runs 661.3 at 208. And my goodness, what a turn of events here.
That's why you have to like that guy, because he does that. He changes it up enough.
Wow.
And what he has done in the past, it has created enough of a distraction to get his opponent thinking. And that, my friends, is the name of the game.
We saw in this portion of the racetrack, looking down from that Pep Boys drone, the car made a very strong initial move through the first 60 feet, but Erica's car began to reel him back in. The 7 thousandths of advantage he had off the starting line was enough to carry him through for a win by just the skin of his teeth. As I've said before this day, what a tight one.
And for any driver that says, oh, we don't need the rollout, we don't need this or that, this is why we have it, and this is the way it should be.
Ride with Matt. He goes across. A surprising lack of internal reaction in the race car. I was expecting a fist to be flying there. His wife, on the other hand, Amber.
Whole new meaning to this term, I saw the light.
Yes, she did. And now we go to the biggest matchup of round number 2. It is Dallas Glenn and Aaron Stanfield. 1 and 2 in the points, separated by merely a round and a half or less as Dave Connolly makes the final wheelie bar adjustment for Dallas Glenn.
And as a driver, when you're sitting in the car and you see the results of what just played out in front of you, it's going to make you even sharper off of that starting line.
Both cars launch off the starting line. Glenn is 15 green and Stanfield's car is not running. And Dallas Glenn, a dream come true for this guy, a second round victory over the man closest to you in the points. This is the time to make hay while the sun shines.
Well, he got a lot of good news. He saw Erica get beat just in front of him. It was Aaron Stanfield that had his hands full, was going to have to play catch-up to Dallas Glenn. That whole shot for Dallas Glenn, he was not as good as Aaron within the first 60 feet, but there you can see the tire shake set in for Aaron Stanfield, and the car is out of power, and everything good happening for Dallas Glenn from this stage on.
You can see that Glenn's car, too, was loose early in that run. You saw the nose of the car hunting around, so both of them were on the ragged edge. Let's watch. A lot of wheel in there.
Yeah, he doesn't even look over. Well, he looked over anyway, just a little insurance, but when he looked and didn't see anything or anyone, that was the best news of the day for Dallas.
You can see him pumping his fist now. Greg Anderson and Fernando Quadra Jr. lined up side by side. E3 spark plug side for Anderson, Toyota side for Quadra. Fernando Jr., 009, the Corral Boots Mustang is putting up A big fight here, but it's Anderson outpowering him at a 6:56.8, 209 miles an hour. That is the quickest run so far by roughly 5/100ths of a second.
Well, there's nothing like those horses running around all that acreage in the motor for Greg Anderson, and he needed every bit of it after that very, very good reaction time for Fernando Jr.
For Matt Hartford, a season of unending frustration has had a sudden break in the clouds. He's with Amanda.
Matt, I would imagine your reaction was quite as big as the one that we started on the starting line. How big was this for team morale and for yourself?
No, that's huge. You know, the host connection, Getrix, Rottler, Total Seal, everybody that supports us. You know, we needed some round wins, and when we struggled coming into the countdown. But, you know, our team, our morale stayed up. But when you run up against a car that's won the last couple of races here over the years, you know, you got to get up on the wheel. And I think we made a pretty good run. I haven't seen a time slip. But listen, everybody back at home, thanks for watching. This is an awesome, even better.
And Matt Hartford has begun to climb from the depths of the points as well. No, he's out as far as the title goes, but climbing up to the top 10, he's trying to do it, succeeding. Jake Coughlin's his next opponent. Greg Anderson will take on Dallas Glenn, and no quarter will be given between two KB Titan race cars. We get a look at our championship points in the Pro Stock category after the second round. It is now a 53-point lead over Stanfield, a 110-point lead over Anderson, 111 over Enders. Let's go back down to Amanda Bisick.
It's a big day for the team and an especially big day for you. How is Dallas reflecting your championship right now?
Oh, I'm feeling really good right now. You know, the car seems to have fallen off a little bit today, but, you know, we're still driving good. We got everybody from Rad here. There's a lot of white shirts. Really want a cowboy hat, and then second and third are gone, so we really can do some damage today. I really got to keep going. We got to drive good, and I'm going to say really one more time for my wife.
So Dallas Glenn is fired up, and this is the Pro Stock motorcycle category. Gage Herrera is still in. His teammate Richard Ganson is out. We're going to find out who moves on to the semifinals when we return. Gage Herrera, the high-winding four-cylinder Suzuki motorcycle of Vance and Hines.
High-revving Hayabusa really starts to pour on the coals. Quickest run in the history of Pro Stock motorcycles.
Your action weather broadcast. We've got shifting weather conditions on the horizon. Expect high winds, scattered thunderstorms, cold fronts, and dense fog. It's a wild one out there.
Toyota trucks. Let's go places.
Can a personal loan unlock your ambitions? Oh yeah. Consolidate bad debt and save money for your next goal. Take a swing at your kitchen reno. Meant that literally. Or design your actual dream wedding. All your ambitions, all in one app. SoFi Personal Loans. Low fixed rates. Borrow up to $100K. No fees required. Go to SoFi.com to view your... SoFi. Get your money right.
At Outback Steakhouse, try the Great Barrier Eats, like the beef and reef platter, or the twin reef shrimp, starting at just $14.99.
I love the Great Barrier beef.
It's Reef Barrier Eats, now at Outback.
Making the switch to battery was
now at Outback.
Making the switch to battery was one of the best decisions that we made as a company.
Built for you, built for work. Right now, buy 2 AP300S batteries and get a third AP300S for free. Real steel. Find yours.
Sometimes I imagine what I'd write today for my dear friend Martin. I'd remind people that all hate thrives on one thing: silence. The people who will change the nation are those who speak out. who refuse to be bystanders, who raise their voices against injustice. When we stand up to silence, we stand up to all hate.
The pit area here at the Texas Motorplex is packed with interactive setups, whether it was the Toyota autograph session earlier this weekend, whether it was the K&N filter setup. You can walk in and check out all the applications they have for your hot rod or late model car, and then the Mission Foods display filled with fans and chips and fun all weekend long. And if you want to get technical with things, you want to learn stuff, the Total Seal Piston Rings Tech Talk that happens at every, it's all about engine building, making horsepower, and going inside the inner workings of a hot rod mill. We can see Herrera, Van Zandt, Evaristo, Johnson, Smith, Ingwerson, and Arana Jr. and Smith. Those are the 8 remaining motorcycles here in Pro Stock Motorcycle round number 2, according to our Lucas Oil ladder. Moving to the racetrack now. First pair up, Angie Smith, Hector Arana Jr. They told us last round the entire team is focused on earning Matt Smith another world championship. Hector Arana Jr. says, that sounds good on paper, but you're not going to use me to do it. Gentrex's bike wins, 685 beats a 689.
That's really great to see Hector Jr., his dad, out here on the full scale running all the races. It allows the driver to get in a little bit of a rhythm, be really good off the starting line.
Angie Smith was there. You can look barely to the left side of the shot, watch the wheelie bar of Hector's bike slowly disappear as he put a gap between himself and her by the end of the drag strip. So the Denso on board for Angie Smith, who will next be seen in Las Vegas. Mark Ingwerson, Matt Smith. Smith seemed to lay back on the starting line. Ingwerson had it by 200ths, but Smith then cranks the throttle all the way open and speeds his way to a 678 at 201.57.
Yeah, Matt Smith, this is the way he races. He's playing it smart. He's laying up a little bit on the starting line. He's got caught doing that, but he appears to be on his way to fine-tuning this machine to the final round.
Steve Johnson, Gianna Evaristo, 4 and 5 qualifiers, and a red light start for Johnson. Johnson, whose motorcycle had been perhaps the best it's been all season, he shuts it off before the 8th mile.
Well, he shuts it off. He knows what happened on the starting line. A driver, rider, they can see that they leave too early. They can see that flash of red light in their lane as they're going past that finish line. So for Steve Johnson, save the parts. A good weekend in terms of performance.
Final pair of the first round, Gage Herrera, Revzilla Suzuki. The Trick Tool Suzuki of Chase Van Zandt, a red light start, 005 red, and you can look, Gage Herrera got away with one here. He was 91 on the tree.
Yeah, Chase Van Zandt outperformed him on the track. You don't hear that often. You don't hear Chase Van Zandt red lighting that often as well.
Herrera's worst light of the season, but still results in a win light. He will be taking on Gianna Evaristo. He will have lane choice. Matt Smith, Hector Arana Jr. will battle on the other side of the ladder. We spoke to Gianna when she advanced to the semifinals.
With a 008 reaction time, Gianna Evaristo is headed to the semifinals in Dallas. How happy are you with the performance of your bike right now?
You know, it's really exciting. My bike definitely has a lot more in there. You know, it's been really on me as a rider. I've been focusing on my lights, doing everything right. And it's really one big, you know, picture that I got to put together. So there's definitely room for me to grow. And I definitely know that we definitely have a shot at being able to win this race. So the Scrappers Racing, Valley Services, Denso, Buell has a lot of power. And I have no doubt that we can at least, you know, put up a fight for sure. Thank you.
And fight she will. Her fight will be against Gage Herrera next round. Tony Schumacher is in the semifinals in a car that looked good in St. Louis, looks good again, but Justin Ashley has come back with a vengeance today. Steve Torrance will need to tighten up the starting line acumen in the semifinal round because Clay Milliken will be ready in that Parts Plus Top Fueler. When we return, the final 4 in Top Fuel will battle it out.
Know what's happening in college football right now? How could you? It changes every second. This player switched to this team. This team switched to this conference. This conference switched to this channel. But sometimes it's on streaming. But Big Noon. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know it's on the same time, on the same channel, on every TV in the country. College football's complicated. But Big Noon? Hey, Hudge fan.
Everything starts with a spark. E3 with Diamond Fire technology is an inferno waiting to wake up your engine. A faster flame front for 2 cylinders to 12. Don't just start your engine, ignite it. E3, what are you running? Time. It's the only thing that matters on this track. And it's the only thing that matters in this field. making the most of every second out here, consider yourself second place. That's why I run Fendt, with a full lineup of industry-leading machines that maximize my efficiency. If every day is a race against the clock, coverage. And for the Moore family, when they lost Medicaid, they found a new plan that fit their budget. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov, where millions have found the coverage they need. Red Bull gives you wings.
We are back. The rodeo that took place as part of the Stampede of Speed earlier this week was very well attended, and just there really is something for everybody here at the Texas MOTORPLEX over the course of this event. So much work and planning has gone into this. Billy Meyer, his daughter, Christy Meyer Johnson, they work tirelessly all year round to run the racetrack, but a big part of it goes to planning this extravaganza. Schumacher, Ashley one side, Milliken, Torrance the other. It is a big, big semi-final round, especially right here with Schumacher and Ashley. We know that Tony Schumacher has made ground up on everybody basically but this guy right now. And we'll find out if he can do it here. He does have the quicker car by a significant margin. Ashley did have the pedal to the left. Tony didn't.
Well, you thought it was hot then. It was 93 degrees. It is now 96. What changes can they make? They could put bigger tires on. They could put more pressure for more grip. They don't want new tires. They want used tires that will provide more grip.
Ashley has not lost to Schumacher once this season in 4 meetings. What a race at the stripe. It is Justin Ashley. He's 5-0 against this guy. 3.806 beats a 3.817. What a race he is having. What a race he needs to have.
Great teamwork. The driver did his job slightly better off the starting line. The tuner did their job slightly better to give their driver a car that outperformed Tony Schumacher, who has been so good in cooler conditions, in hotter conditions, going down the racetrack. And for Justin Ashley, only one qualifying effort, but this team seems so prepared for these conditions.
Schumacher clearly will be a factor through these last couple of races. The win last week and now a semifinal finish here in a clean semifinal finish. Not a tire smoker, not late.
No, and again, this is good clutch management, the right adjustments, the right conditions from both tuners.
And for Justin Ashley, this is the type of performance this team has not had in the countdown the last couple of years. It is the type of performance that will define their season this year. And now our current top fuel point standings, Justin Ashley 24 ahead of Antron Brown, 56 up on Langdon. Torrance is there, but look at Tony Schumacher. He is now 20 points closer than he was when he started the day. Now Bruno Massel is down at the starting line with more on Steve Torrance.
Yeah, talking with Steve before he suited up here for this semifinal matchup. You know, he's down about 600 in performance in the last round off of Clay Milligan. Steve, he said, what we've been trying to do as a team, we've won a lot of championships doing the Capco boys try and race the racetrack and try and get the best we can out of it. Right now, obviously, we're going to have to step up a little bit. Clay been kind of at the head of the pack if you look at the numbers so far. He said, but at the end of the day, it comes down to me as a driver. I've got to get up on the wheel and do my job. This is my home track. If they're ever going to a point to turn our season around and really make a push for the championship, it has to happen here today, and it has to happen for me.
Bruno, I couldn't agree with your sentiment or Steve's anymore. This is a defining singular run for Steve Torrence this year. 2 reaction times over 100. It can't be that again. It wasn't, but he smoked the tires. Milliken's going to the final round. 377.7 at 329 miles an hour. A year ago, this race was disastrous for this team. It cost them a spot in the top 10. Boy, those days seem long gone by.
And you have to look back at that event that happened a year ago, and I think this team went through some turmoil because of it, and they were very critical, not just of what happened, the wheel stand, but they seemed to have lots of mechanical issues along the way in terms of how they were tuning the car, how they were setting it up, a lot of parts damage, and that always hits the pocketbook. Whatever the case, in 1 year has really come a long way. They have the performance, they have the consistency, they seem to be able to win on any given Sunday.
For Clay Milliken, a very solid performance. And that performance has been mirrored by so many others over the course of this weekend. The U.S. Air Force aim high top speeds of the race. Brittany Force, 366 with the ET, but the speed of 338.19 miles an hour was the top speed of Top Fuel.
That kind of top speed means you get a good run at it, you're making a good amount of power, but everything is firing on 8 cylinders near the finish line.
Matt Hagan, top speed in funny car, 335.2 at qualifying session 2. Troy Coughlin in Pro Stock, 211.09 again on Friday night. But Pro Stock motorcycle is actually today, 202.54 miles an hour in race day round 1 for Angie Smith. The Nitro funny car category on the racetrack for its semifinal round, and the ladder will show us the final 4, being Austin Brock and Ron Capps on one side, Matt Hagan and Dan Wilkerson on the other, as the Summit Racing equipment on board takes us into the water box with Dan. So you made an interesting point regarding Dan Wilkerson and kind of his ability to fly under the radar, because even during this day, the car has looked really good. The guy had an 015 light in the second round. He's doing all the right things.
We just go back a race ago, and he was able to hole shot a couple of drivers to get to the semifinals and get to the late rounds, and you really got to be careful for the guy that you never see coming. And I think that's the case of Dan Wilkerson. They've had their issues this year, but, his dad making the transition, not having to concern himself with driving the race car. Dan Wilkerson has really stepped up to the plate, and it's odd that it would typically be him having to take out Matt Hagan. Matt Hagan has to take the fight to this guy.
The tables have definitely shifted, especially today. The Johnson's Horsepower Garage Dodge. We've heard Hagan say it all week long. Jason Johnson, a great supporter of their operation. He has won for virtually everybody that has ever placed their name on the side of his race car, but he has not done that for Johnson yet. Dan Wilkerson says, maybe next week, pal. this ain't the time to do it. As Richard Hartman now makes that final adjustment on the engine. Nothing happening here for Wilkerson, and Matt Hagan will roar to a 396.5 at 326 miles an hour, making a full pull to the finish line as Dan's car spun the tires instantly.
Well, for Hagan, they were right on track with what they had done the previous round, even factoring in the increase in temperature, and here's an instant loss of traction. So the tires are one adjustment that we talked about. Funny cars do a lot of things like the Top Fuel car, so you maybe put a bigger tire on it so you can control the wheel speed initially. A lot of times it could be with the engine power, and sometimes it's with the lockup weight on the primary levers. If you want to slow it down, those are the adjustments you have to make. They'll look back at this run and probably say they weren't properly set up to go down a hotter track.
Amanda spoke to Kilgore, Texas's fastest resident after his semifinal loss.
A great points day for Steve Torrence. It is not over for you yet in this championship hunt. How do you keep that mindset up?
Poor performance by the driver all day. Been late on the tree all 3 rounds. Just hadn't had the car that's really reacted very well, and I haven't been driving it very well. But Capco boys have worked really hard, and this Toyota dragster is great. But
for all the guys that stick with us, y'all keep sticking with me. Red Line, Mac Tools, we're doing the best we can. We'll finally get it figured out, and hell, if we can't, we'll weld it together and shut the door with a Lincoln welder.
We go to the starting line. Something very strange is happening. Very, very short burnout, Tony. It almost sounded like the throttle cable broke. The body coming up right now.
Yeah, this is where the work begins. They're going to try to figure out what went wrong. It started with a faulty burnout. Seemed like he started, and then the car instantly quit. Yeah, the throttle blades, they don't open much. However, there's something that's not right, and you can see it preceded by all that smoke coming out of the pipes, and that's just the engine idle. The car's still running, but they're just trying to figure out what happened with it. They're looking at the throttle linkage, and there's a good chance if it's disconnected, if it's disconnected with air, it's a good chance this car will not be wide open throttle at the start.
They are going to stage the car. By all the body language here, it appears they're going to stage the car, and it likely will not have any throttle for Austin Prock. You can see Jimmy Prock, his body language, and they're just not even going to bother to stage it. Boy, oh boy, he is hot as a hornet right now, and Ron Capps will be going to the final round against Matt Hagan.
Yeah, for Ron Capps, you can't tell me that you want an opponent in the other lane. Not that opponent right there. This is going to be a free ride for Capps.
This day of abject, bizarre activity on the drag strip continues. And Capps was going to make him work for it, a 390 at 328 miles an hour. Bruno's on the starting line with Thomas.
Down here with Thomas Prock. Thomas, what happened down there?
It looks like the throttle came disconnected. There's an air piston for a safety system that it must have shoved the pin out of it or something. I'm not exactly sure, and we couldn't get it back in with the car running.
In Austin, you can see him aggressively removing his safety equipment. He is walking this one off, and I'm not sure there's enough room to walk in this entire facility to get the heat out of his head right now. But he would have had his hands full with that 390 by Ron Capps. My goodness, what a turn of events in funny car. And the gap of points has shrunk again.
Tonight on Fox, it's game one of the NLCS. Francisco Lindor and the Mets look to continue their incredible run against Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers. Game one of the NLCS, tonight at 8 Eastern on Fox. Look out, 'cause here I come.
Have you always had trouble losing weight and keeping it off? Same.
Discover the power of Wegovy. In the marching on to the beat I drum.
With Wegovy, I lost 35 pounds. And some lost over 46 pounds.
Wegovy.
And I'm keeping the weight off.
Wegovy helps you lose weight and keep it off. I'm reducing my risk. Wegovy is the only FDA-approved weight management medicine that's proven to reduce risk of major cardiovascular events in adults with known heart disease and with either obesity or overweight. Wegovy shouldn't be used with semaglutide or GLP-1 medicine. Don't take Wegovy if you or your family have medullary thyroid cancer, multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if allergic to it. Stop Wegovy and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may happen, including pancreatitis and gallbladder problems. Wegovy may cause low blood sugar in people with diabetes, especially if you take medicines to treat diabetes. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes, or if you feel your heart racing while at rest. Depression or thoughts of suicide may occur. Call your provider right away if you have any mental changes. Common side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
With Wegovy,
I'm losing weight.
I'm keeping it off.
And I'm lowering my CV risk. That's the power of winning! Check your cost and coverage before talking to your healthcare professional about Wegovy.
Leaders are emerging on the floor.
Bring it on. I know my stuff.
But can they hold on to their territory?
That was not easy.
The floor only Wednesday after the Masked Singer on Fox.
With Chime, I can get paid when I want. Why do we accept waiting 2 weeks for payday? I work hard every day, but I don't get paid every day. Because of Chime, I don't have to wait to get paid anymore. With my pay, I can get up to $500 of my pay on my schedule. There's no interest, no credit checks, no mandatory fees. I love being in control of my money, and for the first time, I can control my payday. And you can too. And that's why I Chime. Join me at chime.com and get paid when you say.
What is Circle? Circle is the fuel you need to take flight. It's the energy that gets you to the next level. This isn't just it's the water you need and the results you want. A state-of-the-art cartridge lets you transform your water with the energy and electrolytes you need for peak performance. Try Circle, now available at Walmart and drinkcircle.com.
The scene as Austin Prock, Jimmy Prock, and the crew arrived back was, well, compelling, as we can see here in the Cornwall Quality Tools pit cam. Clearly an issue with the throttle, Tony. They're talking about why an issue or something fell off.
Well, they want answers, and this level of intensity is completely understandable.
Yes.
This is the natural
Yes.
order. They want answers. They want to know why. They want to know what happened, so it doesn't happen again. They're not in the most comfortable position, even though they have a good lead. But look, this team, especially that dad, Jim Prock, he has been there before. He doesn't want it to happen again.
They have lost any room for error. Hartford and Coughlin will line up in Pro Stock. Anderson and Glenn will line up in this semifinal round. 4 cars left, and a day that just won't quit as far as the weirdness goes continues in Pro Stock. The Hose Connection Chevrolet Camaro of Matt Hartford and the Skag Power Equipment Camaro of Jake Coughlin Jr. Hartford's car broke traction early. Jake Coughlin will cruise to a final round berth here at the Texas Motorplex 663.6.
Yeah, for Matt Hartford, problems right off of the starting line, and these teams constantly have to change the setup, and whether it's the tune-up or the clutch or how the suspension or how the car launches. But for Matt Hartford, it ends on a very good day, but instant tire shake for the driver. And believe me, this is very violent from a driver's vantage point for Matt Hartford, trying to get back on the throttle, but he can see no issues from his opponent.
That vibration translating itself even right to our in-car camera. Matt shut it down once he saw Coughlin was on a clean run. And so the second half of the semifinal, Greg Anderson and Dallas Glenn, the Rad Torque System Chevrolet, and the HendrickCars.com Camaro of Anderson. They run out of the same camp, but they both run as hard as they can against each other and everyone else. Greg Anderson was out first. Greg Anderson goes to the stripe, and Greg Anderson just beat the points leader. 660 beats a 661.9. Unless you think these guys don't have a diving board in the shop. There is no diving board at the shop pool.
Well, Greg Anderson, like a few others before him, they just showed what team racing is all about. There's a rule in the rule book that says it is not allowed for you to allow your opponent to win the race, and Greg Anderson gets a nice jump. He comes into this race with the performance advantage. And it was Billy Torrance, one of the greatest quotes that I've ever heard. If I give it to my son, I have taught him nothing. And it's Greg Anderson taking it to the points leader.
So Anderson goes to the final round as he ride with Dallas Glenn to Summit on board. So Anderson will now fight his way back around Erica Enders, it appears. And that means that Jay Coughlin and Greg Anderson are in a final round. Let's go to Amanda.
Matt Hagan was up here at the top end and said it's just like old times again. We've seen Ron Capps. What do you know about Matt Hagan that can help you?
Oh my God, I got some good stories, Amanda. How much money you got? Well, listen, I welcomed him into DSR when he came on board as just a snot-nosed pro mod driver, and we've grown as friends, and I've watched him grow as a person and a driver. So it's great to go up match up with that team, because that is the old team from DSR with Dickie. But Guido, man, what a run, 390. Catherine Wooten from headquarters is here, from Napa headquarters. Brad Sweet clinched a championship last night right here in the state of Texas. But for her to come out, she is literally responsible for my contract of being a team owner at NHRA, so we love having her.
Brad Sweet, of course, the epically talented sprint car racer, won the High Limit Sprint Car Series championship here in Texas. 6th straight national title for Sweet. He is one of the greats of all time in that field of racing. Gianna Evaristo trying to take out Gage Herrera. 0-0 last round. Herrera's very late last round. He can't afford it. She needs to do it again. Both machines heading down the racetrack, and as Gianna Evaristo has some sort of a distraction on the starting line, as Herrera a massive, massive advantage to leave. 683.5 at 199 for the win. And so now the second half of the semifinal, we know Gage is going there, but will it be Hector Arana Jr., the Getrex Buell, or the Buell with the Denso colors of Matt Smith? Smith hunkered down behind the windscreen. Good drag race here, and Smith has enough motorcycle. 687 at 200 miles an hour. Takes out the 690 and 197. He still needs to find 400s for Gage in the final.
One thing that Matt Smith has been able to do, he's been able to find the power when he needs it. However, he is going to definitely need it in the final round. He's going to need it on the starting line, but he has been progressively better off the line as the threats become bigger.
Finalist in Pro Stock, Jed Coughlin, is with Amanda Busick.
Jag, the lone elite car in the semifinals. Now you got him into the finals. How important is this not only for yourself, but for the team effort?
Well, it feels good, obviously, to still be in. We've had a struggle in the countdown, as many have seen, and really just by 1,000th of a second. But car's been running pretty good. We're a little sluggish compared to the front runners here, but the game's not over.
The game is definitely not over, and he has a big one against a longtime nemesis in Greg Anderson. This week's Skag Power Equipment close cut margins of victory. This one against Eric Anders with Matt Hartford in the Hose Connection Camaro. He got that one done by just a handful of thousandths of a second. And we look now at our other close cut margins of victory. Hagen and Bodie, that was 11 thousandths. Milliken and Reed, that was 15 thousandths. And Panzana Gadsden, 31 thousandths. All coming in first and second round eliminations today. We'll be right back with more here in Texas.
Get ready to race down the track with Mission Foods. It's a green light for the NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series, packed with fast action and tasty products. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy-to-make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
What causes a curve down there? Is it Peyronie's disease? Will it get worse? How common is it? Can I talk to? Can this be treated?
Stop typing, start talking to a specialized urologist, because it could be Peyronie's disease, or PD. It's a medical condition where there is a curve in the erection caused by a formation of scar tissue, and an estimated 1 in 10 men may have it. But PD can be treated even without surgery. Say goodbye to searching online. Find a specialized urologist who can diagnose PD and build a treatment plan with you. Visit makeapdplan.com today.
Popeye's crispy, juicy, tender, signature chicken is the meal your craving deserves. And now you can get 3 pieces of the chicken you crave for just $5. We don't make sense, we make chicken. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
The crispiness, the chewiness, the straight up deliciousness. It's not just good, it's oh my goodness! Wow, it's exciting.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
They say where there's smoke, there's fire. And November 14th through 17th, it all comes down to this. The In-N-Out Burger NHRA World Finals at the In-N-Out Pomona Drag Strip. Catch the final race in the countdown to the championship when the fight for the title ends and new champions are crowned. Don't miss a weekend of nitro-packed action. Plus kids 12 and under free and general admission. Get tickets at NHRA.com for the In-N-Out Burger NHRA World Finals.
I didn't have to spend my life trying to find my calling. Mine found me at an early age. It was just a matter of how good I could get and how far I would go.
At Ram, our calling is to build trucks. So when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
Right now during Ram Power Days, get $4,000 cash allowance on the purchase of most 2025 Ram 1500 trucks. Don't miss Ram Power Days. Hurry in today.
A look at the Play NHRA odds entering this race. And of course, you can see Austin Brock was the favorite party, but look the 2 and 3 drivers there. These odds makers are onto something. Those are your finalists.
Somebody's doing their homework. Somebody's factoring in the track temperature, the overall conditions that we have, because these are pretty good guesstimates.
You can hit that flow code there to learn more about the Play NHRA initiative. Final presented by Ram Trucks. We look at Ron Capps and what he has done over the course of this day, which has been nothing short of great. In the second round, he was facing off against Blake Alexander, who uncorked a 387 in round 1. Alexander and Jim had overpowered the racetrack, allowing Capps to advance with a 394. In fact, a string of those 394s moved most cars through that second round. But it was the semifinals where the game really changed. Austin Prock taken out with a failure apparently somewhere in the throttle pedal system.
Yeah, there was even drama in one of the previous rounds for Ron Capps. He was being held up a little bit, and he didn't want to lighten the car up from idling. And here again, a very tough opponent in Austin Prock. But, you know, after everything was said and done and the dust settled, it may not have mattered. That was such an impressive run from that Capps team.
That 390 was wild. Bruno talked to Thomas Prock immediately after the incident happened on the starting line and then repositioned to the pits. We gave Austin a second to let his blood pressure come down and have this chat.
Tough way to end the day for Funny Car Points leader Austin Prock. Austin, when you tried doing the burnout and things went...
There was two things. You either broke the throttle cable or the throttle linkage disconnected. It's on a quick disconnect that's, activated by air. And I stopped and noticed that the throttle arm was moving and there was no, change in RPM. So I got on the radio, told them what was going on, and we tried reconnecting it, but we weren't able to due to, pretty much just error on assembling the race car. So tough break, not the way we wanted to, leave here, but, it was still a good weekend. We went to the semis again and try and get them in Vegas and, see if we can't sew this thing up.
Any solace in seeing Capps go out there and go with 390?
No, that was a great run, but I think we could have hung with him. Our package is right with his, so I'm sure it would have been a hell of a drag race.
I think we all feel the same way. That 90 was big, but if any team could match it, it might have been them. So Austin Prock now holds a 147-point lead over John Force. Ron Capps and Matt Hagan, one of the two are going to make inroads. Could Matt Hagan possibly climb to the number 3 spot, or will Capps snug it up on number 2? We're going to find out when we run the final round in Nitro Funny Car. We now look at our Ram Road to the final, powered by Ram Trucks for Clay Milliken. What a difference a year makes. It was a bad place for this team last year, but those days are long since over. He took out Doug Coletta in the first round, the only round where his car really hasn't been the quickest of the rounds. They blew it up at the finish line.
Yeah, once Clay Milliken got by Doug Coletta in the first round, even though he was the better qualified car, it just seemed that he was going to have a good day.
Sean Reed, who took out Tony Stewart again in the first round, was matched up against Milliken. They left almost identically, and this was straight up horsepower. They outran him.
Yeah, good calls by the tuner right there. Great recovery from that previous round explosion.
And then in the semifinal round, he looked across the drag strip to see none other than Texan Steve Torrance. Torrance had stepped up his reaction time game to a degree. They left within 5 thou of each other, but again, it was the superior tune-up. A 377 and 329 puts Milliken into the final. Bruno's with him, along with his YouTube following.
So Clay Milliken went from going boom and blowing up just about everything to low each round. How does that happen, Clay?
That's Jim Oberhofer, Nicky Bonifant. I mean, holy moly. I've done nothing special except not running into anything or red light, and we just got to keep that streak going because this Parts Plus car is a freaking hot rod. And we've been good in the heat before, but man, it has been so easy to drive because it just goes, no shake, no nothing. Yes, it did go boom, but we know why it did that too.
So a couple more finals. We go to the Holly EFI Factory X final round. And that Factory X final round saw Jesse Alexandra closest to us and Greg Stanfield wearing the classic Rod Shop colors. Both Chevrolet Camaros with factory-based LT-style injected engines with blowers, manual transmissions. And Stanfield picks up a third win. 707 beats a 713. The Summit Racing Equipment Junior Drags to League final pitted Dawson Rogers against Abigail Williams. Note that the two dragsters rolling off the starting line here, one of them is actually electric. That will be the dragster on the left-hand side of the racetrack. Dawson Rogers had a great reaction time of 0:58 in his little dragster. Abigail Wilson, unfortunately, had an 0:25 red light start, ran 7:90 with a 9. If Abigail had been green, it would have been her drag race to win. Congratulations to Dawson Rogers for the Junior Dragster League National Shootout victory here at the Motorplex. When we return, the final rounds of these Texas Fall Nationals, a race many days in the making. And a Bronco, you can ride it for a little while, like a Nitro Funny Car, and sometimes it'll throw you off.
What's up?
Who are you?
I'm your inner child. Get in. Listen, what you really need in life is some freaking torque. Oh yeah, man. Horsepower keeps you going, but torque gets you going. Oh, now we're torquing. I love car puns. Oh, I know. Power shot.
Dodge Hornet RT, the totally torqued out crossover.
Is Bad Dad holding you back?
The only limit is the sky. It's our time. You don't wanna miss it. It's our time. You don't wanna miss it. It's your moment in the spotlight.
All your ambitions, all in one app. Low fixed rates. Borrow up to $100K. No fees required. SoFi. Get your money right.
If your business needs a new application, then developers will have to write code. A lot of code. If an application needs to be modernized, then you'll need time, resources, and caffeine. If this sounds daunting, then use Watson X Code Assistant. Built with IBM's Granite Code Model, it's AI designed to multiply developer productivity so you can generate code quickly. IBM, let's create.
Ah, family time. Of course, it's not the same if you can't enjoy your favorite foods. But getting your teeth fixed at a price you can afford? Don't really see that one on the table. Here's something to chew on. Aspen Dental has custom-made solutions with flexible finance options to make implants and dentures more affordable for you. With $0 down plus 0% interest if paid in full in 18 months. Helping people like Rose keep family traditions going. It's one more way Aspen Dental is in your corner.
Great days start with great underwear, and Tommy John makes the greatest. We know that when you're free from distractions, anything is possible. That's why everything we make is meticulously crafted from breathable stretch fabric for the perfect fit, including our sleepwear that feels even softer than it looks. When you wake up to Tommy John, each day feels better than the last, because greatness is in our very fabric. Go to TommyJohn.com now for 30% off site-wide.
Alice loves the scent of Gain so much, she wished there was a way to make it last longer. Say hello to your fairy godmother, Alice. And long-lasting Gain scent beads, part of the irresistible scent collection from Gain.
I'm Jimmy Dean, and only one thing could make a morning like this any nicer. A hearty, hefty, good-tasting breakfast with eggs, bacon, sausage, cheese, and taters. And when you finish, you know you had something to eat.
The Texas NHRA Fall Nationals is sponsored by Mission Foods. Make today delicious with Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty. And by Lucas Oil, the world leader in high-performance lubricants and problem-solving additives. It is time for the final rounds here of these Fall Texas Nationals, a race that has long been a defining one on the NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series Tour. The Stampede of Speed comes to its official conclusion this afternoon that began some 9 days ago. It is a 10-day event, and it is so inclusive. There was actually a cattle drive at the drag strip this morning. Kids of all ages, loving it. This little guy's riding around a little dragster. He's got a dragster in his hand. And if you're in Texas, you're going to see some performances that you're not going to see in any other place. Incredible roping and riding demonstrations as well. And for Gage Herrera, he is trying to do something unprecedented in the history of the NHRA, which is to win his 20th race in what would be effectively his 32nd start. The Suzuki on board. For Gage and Matt, one of these guys continues to be living a dream. The other guy seems to be living a perpetual nightmare that he can't wake up from, and that's Matt Smith.
Well, for Matt Smith, it would be a very good time to find some of that first and second round performance. A pretty good fall off at the hottest point of the day. It's still 95 degrees. However, the track temperature is down to 121.
Either man has showed incredible consistent sharpness on the tree today. Gage was 17 early on in competition, but he's going to need that type of a light here. Matt, you know he'll be there for it. Matt revving the engine. Attempting to throw Gage Herrera off his cadence. Matt got a little bit of a lead off the starting line, but that is not going to be near enough. He has shut his motorcycle off, and Gage Herrera has continually, as he has done once again, shut off the hopes of anybody else of winning around here. 681, 6 at 200.
Unfortunate for Matt Smith. For the second time, he was leading this race, and out of power. We'll get another look, but more importantly, let's get another listen.
The bike refused to shift. That is why he shut it off. You heard it run into the rev limiter there, and that is what caused him. Meanwhile, Herrera, 14,000 RPM. And he has set the record, folks. This is the quickest race to 20 wins in the history of NHRA professional drag racing. It took Bob Glidden 50 races to win 20. It has taken Gage Herrera barely more than 30 to do the same thing. More history for this guy who continues to make it on a week-to-week basis.
Oh, some man alongside of the machine and the team and the work that they put in and everything that they've R&D'd and evolved over the years, and they've got quite the talent to complement that bike.
It is still only a 62-point gap. It is surmountable with 2 races to go, easily so. For Richard Gadsden and the rest of the field, though, it is officially a 2 race. Steve Johnson and Chris Bostic officially eliminated now from playoff competition. It is time for the Pro Stock final round, and we look at Greg Anderson and Jay Coughlin. Seeking win 106 is Anderson, 69 for Coughlin. And a note here for the Elite Motorsports team and Jay Coughlin specifically. Mark Ingersoll, who serves as the overriding crew chief for this whole operation, was the recipient of a double lung transplant this week. He got on the list. He had a degenerative condition, the same condition that ended his father's life prematurely. And so Mark Ingersoll, he is recovering. He has had the transplant, and unlikely he is watching right now. Bruno, you have more.
Jack Coughlin's entire crew worked on this car feverishly to turn it around. They changed engines, they changed rear gears, they changed tires, said they changed everything but the transmission in this thing, trying to find some extra performance for the final.
They may need it. Greg Anderson comes in with a 3/100ths advantage on paper from the last round. These are the fastest conditions of the day. Here we go. Greg Anderson leaves on Jag. Did all those mechanical changes help to turn the tide? It is going to be Jake Coughlin. 59 with a 3, beats a 60 with a 3. The team celebrating for themselves. And for Mark Ingersoll, who's watching from home, what an incredible final round. 10 inches margin of victory.
You can see it right off of the starting line. It was the advantage by Greg Anderson, but if you have a good eye, you can clearly see that it was the car of Jake Coughlin that out-accelerated Greg Anderson off the start, and that is with the starting line advantage from Greg Anderson. That was chewed up and spit out by the power, by the adjustments that were made by that Skag machine.
Getting all the performance out of this. We heard Bruno talk earlier about the crew chief saying that this track acts like it's 20 degrees cooler than any other track at this temperature, and that 992.60 foot time is part of that. The rear tire, that little quiver, if you had a very keen eye, you saw in the back of Anderson's car, is what scrubbed just enough off his 60-foot time to allow Jay Coughlin in the Skag Power Equipment Camaro to claim victory 69. And for Gage Herrera, it's victory 20. He's with Amanda.
Gage, in managing the threat of Matt Smith today, you have become the quickest person in NHRA history to achieve 20 career wins. Brian Lone said that you are living a dream. How big is it?
It's the biggest dream you could ever live. You know, as being a little kid, is dreaming of racing NHRA. You know, now I'm here living it and doing it, and it's hard to believe. You know, it's crazy. You know, it's awesome racing Matt Smith and all the competitors in NHRA Pro Side Motorcycle, and for me to accomplish so much that I have in such a short time, I got to give it all up to Vance Hines, Andrew, Motul, Revzilla, Suzuki, Terry, Vance, Byron Hines. I mean, this one's for them. This means a lot, especially going in this countdown. The points, everything are pretty tight, and we just got a little more cushion, and we're gonna try to keep it going. Woo!
It is a cushion, and he mentioned he is very conscious of the fact that it's only a couple of rounds as his American Hat Company chapeau is hitting onto his head. Dallas Glenn now leads Aaron Stanfield by 53. Greg Anderson by 90. Eric Enders back 111. Jake Coughlin with the win keeps himself in contention. Matt Hartford is the cutoff line of still anybody who could make a run and mathematically get it done. Amanda is with Jeggy.
In the battle of the greats, it goes to Jeg Coughlin Jr. this time. And by the time Pomona comes around, can you be relevant in this countdown?
I can be relevant and maybe helping some others out. But, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot with those couple 1,000 losses early in the countdown. But heck with all that. How about this big win in Ennis, Texas? Billy Meyer and the entire family, thank you for what an event. It's been a hot event. Thanks to all the fans for coming out. Mark Ingersoll, we love you, buddy. We miss you. And, this one's definitely for him. This one's going to Chicago with the next train that goes there. And we know he's going to get well and be back with us next season. So, and all of our partners, Skag, Outlaw Beer, Jegs, thank you for all the love and support. And I can tell you we're going to celebrate this one in good Texas style.
And one more note on this, it should be mentioned that the responsibility of Mark did not go away. It went to somebody else, and that somebody else was Chase Freeman, who stepped up on probably the largest responsibility weekend he's ever had with that team and has delivered them a successful race weekend and a win. As Ron Capps and Matt Hagan back to the starting line. Bruno, you're in the cloud.
Yeah, we are definitely eating some nitro right now. It is a great way to end the day. For Ron Capps and his tuner, Dean Antonelli, he has been on point, especially in the heat. Yesterday, he ran a 389 in qualifying in the heat of the day. And what he's done is pick away at that tune-up through the course of the day today. I spoke to him before the semifinals, and I asked him, how do you manage the track? I said, there's a little bit of a bump in the right lane, so I was a little foolish. I tried to go over it. I'll slow the car down a little bit. It'll run a 390. And it did just that. Pretty miraculous in this heat, in these conditions. Anything they can go out repeated here in the final.
And I think what's really interesting is to see how they take the approach. I think for the Napa team, they've run a 390. That was very impressive, but you have to know that they're coming after you. They're going to get more aggressive. They have nothing to lose. Makes you wonder if the Napa team can run a hundredth or two quicker.
Cap seeking his first win since the U.S. Nationals of 2023. Hagan made the first move. As they get down to the top end of the racetrack, Matt Hagan has done it on a hole shot. 394 beats a 393. You talk about a team who has been just gnawing at it, trying to get a win. They last won in Chicago. They last made a final in Charlotte, and they have won here.
Well, and they did. They came after you, and it's going to be interesting to see if the Napa team, if they laid up, if they played it safe. If they did, it cost them. But sometimes, mechanically, these cars don't really do it.
Starting line with Dickie Venables. Dickie's been down here in the starting line with Dickie Venables. Dickie's been picking people up. He's been carried around out here. And a huge win for you guys out here. Matt gets run over by a golf cart that seemed to be your lucky break for the weekend. How did you manage to put that number on the board there in the final?
We took it one run at a time. We weren't where we felt like we wanted to be the first couple rounds, so we just kept chipping away at it. And, I'd just like to thank all my guys. Thank Tony Stewart for giving us the opportunity. And, we ain't dead yet.
A lifetime of experience in this sport leads a guy to the position he's in and to make the calls he's made.
Well, and thank your driver, too. He got you out of a bind. I mean, you were the slowest car. He got off the line like he has done so many times. And Matt Hagan has taken a couple of licks over the last couple of races. But when you're the guy on top, you have drivers that are firing shots at you. And it does appear that the Napa car, the driver as well as the tune-up, they just fell off just enough.
His fifth win at the Fall Texas Nationals. As they left the starting line, you could see that Hagan got a good jump on the starting line, and then it's in the mid-course area where his car began to put a little distance on Capps.
Yeah, and it wasn't the impressive numbers that we saw from the Napa car. The speed was off from the previous round, and the track did pull off, so all the credit goes to this team. And Jason Johnson, you got a trophy coming.
Finally, they have talked about it, and they have delivered. They actually hung out with Jason Johnson shortly a couple of weeks ago. And Jason Johnson's going to be smiling, and Matt Hagan is with Amanda Busing.
You can just imagine the celebration of Matt Hagan. And Matt, you called it an old school matchup between you and Ron Capps, and to come out on top of a matchup with someone you've been competing with for so long on a hole shot. How validating is that?
You can't call it a hole shot. I mean, we're in the finals and there's nothing to lose, so it definitely wasn't a hole shot win. But to race Ron is badass. I love that guy. He's been my mentor for so long. Just our guys, man. We had a lot of stuff going on internally with our guys, and they worked so hard, figured it out, and we won this race. Jason Johnson with Johnson Horsepower Garage
Woo, this one's yours, baby. We've been working a long time to get here, and we're gonna party tonight. That's for sure. Maybe we'll just burn this whole place down. You know what I mean? Woo!
Reminiscent of Scott Coletta's wins back in the day when he said, the city ain't ready for us. As we can see, Austin Prock now leading John Force via Jack Beckman by 147. And Matt Hagan, who entered this race, the number 5 car in the points, is now third. He's still a ways back, but as they said, Dickie Venables said they ain't dead yet. Chad Green, DeJoria, Petragon, Richards, and Hall officially and mathematically eliminated from countdown contention as we return to the starting line for the final of Top Fuel. You know, Tony, maybe this is the strategy. You make one qualifying run a weekend. You go home, get some rest. And then you come back in and you're as fresh as the day, as the morning dew, and you run your way to a final.
Well, sometimes it makes you wonder, but for this team, look, they've been through this the last couple of years. They've made some changes. They cycled in a new chassis. They've really taken measures to be where they're at right now, and then there's the driver. You can see 14 career victories for Ashley, 7 for Milligan as we go back down to Bruno.
Brian just grabbed Jim Overhaul for a second, asked him about his game plan here for the final. He said right now the track is actually better than it has been all day long. We feel at least the track has got some teeth to it. We're going to try and go back to a 75 or even better than we ran earlier in the day.
It is a very wise maneuver in my estimation because this is not a detraction from Clay Milligan's ability. It is statistical math that Justin Ashley's going to lead first. That 75 could be the number that wins him this race.
Well, drivers, remember, you just go back one race ago. That was this matchup in the first round is a whole shot victory by Justin Ashley.
Both cars roaring into the Texas afternoon, and at the finish line stripe, it's a whole shot win for Ashley. He has done it again in an 0.26 light. How do you stop it? How do you stop it? 77 beats a 76.
It's very hard to. Clay Milligan, that is the best reaction time. Yes. He took his shot. He did as much as he could, but this is the benefit, again, of the driver and the quickness and how close this race was. It almost looked like the clutch filter fell off of Justin Ashley's car, but what a close race and another good whole shot win for Justin.
Bruno Massel is with Mike Green.
Mike Green is all smiles, and he should be. Mike, when you guys decided that you're going to sit out those 3 qualifying sessions, did you imagine you'd be standing here about to raise a Wally here on Sunday?
You know, as a team, we had this coming on for a month. We knew it was going to happen, so we planned and we said, we can still win this race. We can do this. We just got to, study it, do it, everybody do their job, and, today worked out for us. It was a great day for the Skag Power Equipment team. Justin, he just drives his ass off all the time, and it was a great win for us. Great time to get a win, with 2 races left, it's going to be exciting. There's a bunch of great cars out here, and we love racing all of them. But great win for our team and all the guys and Justin.
Amanda's at the top end with Justin.
And Bruno, before he got out of his dragster, he looked to the sky and climbed out, taking in the moment. And Justin, Brian Lone said after that run, what stops that? A 26 reaction time and a whole shot win. How do you make it look so easy?
Divine intervention. This weekend speaks to God's presence in our lives. I'm a little bit emotional about this one. We had unique circumstances, but our team came through. And to be able to get a win for Team Toyota, but to be able to double up was Jeggy. For everybody at Skag Power Equipment, Metalcraft of Mayville, Skag Australia, Skag Southwest, this is a really special victory. This victory is because of Randy Maria and the team at Skag, and the team that we have working on this race car could not be more proud and thankful. Thank you.
All right,
An incredible feat that this guy has once again pulled off. He is now 44 points ahead of Antron Brown. He was trailing and leading. 76 on Langdon, 88 on Torrance, and 105 on Tony, who treaded water this weekend. 2 races remain. One of them is points and a half. The In-N-Out Burger NHRA Finals, the NHRA Sunoco Winner Circle, and the Corbel Champagne. As our 4 winners, it is a Skag double-up for the first time, as you heard Justin Ashley say. On behalf of Amanda Busick and Bruno Massel, along with Tony Pedragon, I'm Brian Lones, and that is a mission wrap from right here in Dallas, Texas. In just a couple of weeks, we head to the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for what will be the second to last race of a 2024 season that doesn't have an ounce of quit in it.